Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. We are, of course, live ahead of FPL Game Week 21. Any questions you do have, of course, get them in the comments. We'll try to answer as many as we possibly can. I'm just going to move my mic so it's not flashing as much for you guys, but it's still doing it. That's quite annoying. But yeah, welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. Of course, we are live ahead of FPL Game Week 21. Obviously, another midweek round. Plenty of those still to come up for the remainder of the season as well. Any questions you do have, get the likes in, get the comments in. Of course, we'll be doing team reviews as always over on Discord. Now, if you want to go and sign up for that, there is a link. It is the pinned comment for that one. And yeah, lots going off. Obviously, some press conferences happening right now, so I will try and keep you guys abreast of any team news that we do get for these press conferences. They're all kicking off around about now anyway, so we should start to get some more team news filtering through. The big one that we're not going to get today is, of course, the Ekitike one. We're not going to find out anything from Slot up until tomorrow. However, looking at some of the quotes that we've had, to be honest, like, it is looking unlikely that he's probably going to feature this week. Maybe he should be back for the Burnley game. However, if it is a more long-term injury, of course, that is a little bit of a sting. I've kind of been playing around with a -4 idea this week, but I don't think I'm going to go for it. I think if, worst comes to worst, we just get Anderson off the bench and he is going to be our player that we're going to go for realistically. Looking in the chat, already so many of you have absolutely flew into today's stream, so thank you so much for your early support. Really, really do appreciate that. Az has asked, how's Gabriel captain looking? Looked a good option last week. I'm not so sure this week. I think there are, better options out there. Solo says, welcome back. Hope you're doing good, man. Jamie, one of our channel moderators, says, hey, Tom, let's go. Abby's in the chat as well. Hope you're doing good. Abby, one of our channel moderators, sorry. And, of course, a FPL Cartel member. If you want to join that, that is, of course, where team reviews will be going for future. So, yeah, get yourself signed up in there. Majon's in the chat as well. We've got people saying Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you guys. Happy New Year. Hope everybody is having a good 2026. And yeah, we'll try and answer as many questions as we can throughout today's stream. Of course, if you do enjoy the content that is you see on the channel, make sure you're hitting like, make sure you're hitting subscribe as well. We are absolutely ridiculously close to 25,000 subscribers. Maybe it could happen on today's stream if things go a little bit crazy and a little bit nuclear. I doubt it. It probably will be, over the course of the next week. I like to hit these milestones on lives. I like to share the experience with you guys. So if, of course, you are new to the channel, make sure you're hitting subscribing. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. Of course, if you aren't new to the channel, make sure you're hitting the like button so it pushes it out to more people. And hopefully, like I said, today could be the day that we hit 25,000 subscribers on the channel. That would be amazing to see. Let's have a look then what we've got. Would you start O'Reilly, Anderson, or Heaven? I think you could probably go O'Reilly. Like, City don't have a lot of defenders to pick from at the moment, so I think O'Reilly will be decent. City's obviously clean sheet numbers as well will also be pretty steady across the board as well, so I think you'll be completely fine with that one. Start one, DCL, Gahey, Gravenberch. I probably would go with... Oh, that's a toughie. I'd be tempted. Who've Leeds got? Newcastle away, not a great fixture. Probably maybe Gahey would probably be the one I would go for. Do I go Raul Jimenez, Ekitike, or Stack? Thanks, man. I would probably play Ekitike, and then I maybe would have Raul Jimenez just first sub waiting to come in. Like, he's got pen share. Chelsea, I could see maybe slipping up in that game. Like, yeah, it would be such a Chelsea thing, wouldn't it? Deny, obviously, City the vital 3 points. Then the next game, of course, they go and bottle it. It'd be so Chelsea. Ekitike to Watkins so I can afford Gabriel. I see Watkins as fixture proof. The only problem I have with Watkins, and I've said this in every video and TikTok I've done this week, is yes, he's banging form. 7 attacking returns in the past 5 game weeks. However, the problem that you have with Watkins is just the minutes are just so insecure. They're absolutely all over the shop. And I do think longer term, we're probably going to be moving away from that structure. And I think, you've got cover for Ekitike this week, and it looks like he could be back for the Burnley game after the press conference. Like that for me is a really good hold fixture. So I don't know if I'd necessarily do that move. Hey Tom, should I go for Garner or Barry from Everton? I wouldn't trust Barry. Garner is a very steady Eddie. Can hit defensive contributions, has set piece share as well. I would not be expecting like mega 16 pointers, but very similar to what Xhaka does, where he kind of just ticks along with Defcon, and there is the occasional attacking return because of the set piece share he's got. That's what I would be more expecting. Would you start Dallo or Anderson? I probably would go with Dallo. Yeah, Dallo probably would be the one for me. Do you think Paqueta will start? He's been pictured in team training, so take of that what you will. I would probably, if I had him, would be tempted to maybe, play him tonight. Two pretty terrible teams. We might even get team news potentially before as well. The deadline does pass for that one. Hey, Tom, help me start 3 out of Senesi, Sobo, Anderson, Forest, Virgil, Alderente. I would actually probably go Anderson from Forest, Alderente. And I'd be tempted with Senesi. I know Bournemouth have been terrible, but their home XGI is actually pretty decent. Like for XGI conceded, by the way, it's actually really good. It's just the away form that just is so bad for Bournemouth and really putting them in a sticky position. I think all of those have a decent chance of Defcon, so that is probably where my mind would be at. Start Van Dijk or Anderson. I'd actually probably tempted to go Anderson ahead of Van Dijk for that one, Probably would. Start 2 from Raya, Roofs, Saliba, and Wirtz. I would play Saliba, and I think if you're playing Saliba, maybe go for the Sunderland goalkeeper. The only problem I would say is that Sunderland aren't as good away from home as they are at home. Also, Brentford have only lost 1 home game so far this season, so they're not any kind of, easy opposition. So I could just be tempted to say go with the double Arsenal defence. They've still got great clean sheet percentages for this week. Ekitike is looking highly unlikely, I would say, to probably play this game, given some of the comments that have come out. It was DOMS, so delayed onset muscle, whatever the acronym is, basically, which is kind of like what you get if you go to the gym and the next day you ate a little bit. Like that's pretty much it. But they've also then said, they did the scans and it was a little bit more than DOMS, is the quote that has been flying around on social. So that to me would maybe suggest probably isn't going to be risk for this game. It probably won't be risk for the Barnsley game. It will probably be Burnley back, or maybe even the Champions League game could be his first game back. But of course, we won't get a press conference update before, of course, the deadline starts. The press conference is tomorrow. So, yeah, I think if you can get away with maybe just keeping Ekitike this week and having bench options, you will be fine. If it's an absolute must transfer, I think just Thiago is the easy second striker, really, isn't he? FPL MV in the chat, he says, good luck, my man. Would be rooting for the 25k today. We can hope and dream, my man. Hope you're doing good as well, mate. Hope you're doing good. If you are looking for some decent content, Premier League and, of course, UCL Fantasy, FPL MV is your man. When do you plan on wildcarding? I've been tempted with a wildcard this week. I can't lie. There is quite a lot of players that I want to have over the next few weeks, and I do feel like I might have to take a -4 over the next few weeks. And I think if I'm going to do that, why don't I just wildcard? The other options I've seen kind of floating around in my head is maybe looking at dead-ending the team into like a blank game week. So I think it's going to be blank game week 31, if my mind's correct. Blank game week 31. Then, of course, wildcarding back out of that into, of course, then looking to play triple captain, bench boost, free hit after that. So that is kind of where my head is at right now. Hey, Tom, any update on Paqueta? Yeah, I spoke about this one a little bit earlier. I basically said there's pictures of him training. That's about it. Hi, Tom. Should I sell Raya for Pickford, a long-term, or just roll the transfer? If it kind of is unlocking other moves to potentially maybe get like a Gabriel in or a Rice, then I don't mind that as a move. Otherwise, I probably maybe would just leave it. Like, it's not going to be like massive differences, I don't think, anyway, for this week. And goalkeeper transfers, like I said, are usually pretty redundant unless they are, of course, unlocking the funds. Best Minter replacement, I think for me, it is going to be Tavernier from Bournemouth. He is going to start appearing in everybody's team. And there's a very good reason for this. 2 things. Number 1, you have Semenyo potentially leaving. Well, he is leaving. You've also got Kluivert, who's just gone out injured, and it looks like it could be a lengthy, extended period time off for Kluivert. That then means penalty share is wide open, which Tavernier took the last one, by the way. You've also got corners and free kicks that now Tavernier represents. For 5.6 million, is a very, very good price. What you will see because of that penalty share and definite set piece share is his points start to creep up in, of course, a lot of predictive models. So your reviews, your Solios, your fantasy football hubs, they will start rating Tavernier as a better option. That then obviously filters out into the community, and then all of a sudden he is owned by everyone. That is usually what happens, right? A pick kind of, does well on review or does well on Solio because, like I said, they unlock those things, whether it be set piece share, whether it be, penalties, DEFCON, whatever. Once they unlock that, their predicted points will start to go up more and more. So Tavernier, I think, could be a very, very good option for a Minter replacement. Like I said, all those things are very talismanic. And Bournemouth aren't a bad side, by the way. They're not like terrible. So having a talisman for 5.6 could be a little bit of a game breaker, and getting in early on him could be a fantastic move, especially if he goes off like tomorrow. Like if he scores a penalty tomorrow, maybe gets a, an open play return or a set piece share return. I think you're absolutely laughing with that one. I'm just going to quickly grab a drink. It's quite warm in my room for some reason. If you're in the UK right now, it is absolutely Baltic. But for some reason, my room is hot, and I don't know why. I've not had like the heating on or anything. Maybe I'm just a bit hot. I don't know. Do keep your questions coming in. We'll answer some in a minute. Let me just give my voice a little bit of a break. We're going to be live for quite an extended period of time today, so I don't want to, of course, run it out. Cool. Weird question. This is for challenge, but would you captain Cunha or Grealish? What is the objective in challenge this week? I don't play challenge. I already play enough fantasy games. I can't be doing another one. So yeah, let me know what the challenge is, and then maybe I can help you out a little bit more on that one. Where are we at in terms of likes today? Let's have a look. What are we at? We are at 26. Let's see if we can smash that up to 50 nice and early. That would be absolutely cracking. Like I said, guys, the aim is 25,000 subscribers by the end of today's stream. It's a big ask, and I don't think we're probably going to get it off. But if we were, I would feel pretty good. I'd feel pretty good about today. Took out Ek for Thiago. I think that makes sense. I think it does make sense. Just no cap on premium players. I probably would be tempted with them with Cunha, yeah. I probably would be tempted with Cunha for me. Yeah, that's probably where I would go on that one. Easy Tom, do I play Wilson or Palmer? Palmer all the way. Is it wise to do a -4 Raya to Sanchez and Sobo to Rice? I have Raya, Gab, Saka as my Arsenal free assets. Would I do that for a -4? I don't think I probably would. I don't think... yeah, I don't think that would probably be worth the -4 in my opinion anyway, mate. Andy's in the chat as well. I wildcarded triple Sunderland defence. I just have Tavernier too. You're right. Bournemouth can't keep a clean sheet, but do score for fun every single with no Semenyo playing. Yep. I think, like you said, getting a pen taker for 5.6 million is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. Should I bench boost Darlow, Mukalele, Nunes, Thiago? Is Darlow playing for Leeds at the moment? I don't know if he is, Let's get that last Leeds lineup up. I thought they had that French guy. This is obviously how much I pay attention to Leeds, by the way. I don't own any of their players anymore, so I don't look at their team lineups. Otherwise, I think you probably are waiting for a double game week a little bit further down the line. Yeah, Darlow's not even playing, so I would cancel that bench boost very quickly. Yeah, you've got a lot of injuries at the moment, haven't you, Majon? I like the moves you've suggested, though. Rodgers and Enzo. Or Kudus and Richards to Enzo and Gabriel. I like that as a move. I really, really like the Enzo and Gabriel one. I think that probably would be the one for me. Yeah, I do probably think, yeah, like you said, it probably will be his last game for, of course, Bournemouth. And then, of course, like long term, he will just be going anyway, won't he? Semenyo might not even be the penalty taker, by the way. Like I said, Tavernier took the last one. I know Semenyo wasn't on the pitch for it, but still, getting in early on that 5.6 million penalty taker. I also think there will be an early substitution for Semenyo tomorrow. He will get subbed off. He will probably be clapped off if that's his last game. It would not shock me to see that. Tarkowski or Gabriel? I mean, I would prefer Tarkowski this week, obviously up against Wolves, but longer term, Gabriel, 100%. I've got Paqueta and Ekitike in my team, and I only have one transfer. What should I do? Paqueta might be back, so I think you should be good. Depends what your bench cover looks like, but I think you should be in a decent place. Is Mane, Watkins, and Haaland a good front three? I like the other two. I'm not a big fan of Watkins. The minutes are just a little bit dicey for me personally. Thank you for some super chats in the chat already. We've had a 79p donation. Appreciate that, man. Of course, if you want to put your question in, I will go and find it. Any other options than Tavernier for Minter? James Garner, Xhaka, Stack, or all kind of the similar mold where you get set piece share, you get defensive contributions. They're probably the other ones. My other option probably might be to go and look at Enzo. His underlying data has actually been really, really good. Chelsea are about to hit into some pretty decent fixtures. So if you've got the budget to potentially go up to him, he could be a decent option as well. So there are kind of my top options right now if I was in the market for a Minter replacement. A farewell brace. It very easily could be. It very easily could be. I think as well, like, this is the thing I found out this week. Spurs are second for away form, by the way. When did that happen? When did that happen? Spurs just casually sat second for away form in the Premier League. Absolutely ridiculous. I think Nkapé will start. I haven't seen anything suggesting that he wouldn't start, so I think he will start. Yes, is what I'm going to go with on that one. Of course, if you are looking for team lineups, FPL Meerkat is the man. He does pretty much all the teams and has a pretty decent percentage success rate as well. Walter to Mane and Van Heck to Gabriel. Is this a good transfer? Yeah, I don't mind those moves. Like, Walter could do something maybe tomorrow night, but like, there's still that risk of him not playing again. So yeah, I don't mind those moves. Will I replace Saka to Rice? This is the thing, right? People are looking at potentially getting rid of Bukayo Saka, and I would be a little bit hesitant on it. There's a few reasons, right? Saka's just been dripping in points. Like, not big hauls, but just drips. It's just drips and drabs, right? 11, 3, 7, 6, 4 over the past few weeks. Like, it's just drips and drabs. Liverpool, interestingly, have actually conceded most of their goal involvement so far this season from right wingers as well. They've also conceded their second most XG from right wingers. I think Bukayo Saka could have a very good game against Liverpool. You then look at the fixtures coming up as well. Forest, United, Leeds, Sunderland. Saka could be a great option. He really, really could. So going Saka to Rice might not be the most optimal thing in the world. Like, I get it. But yeah, I'm actually quite happy that I own Saka this week. I think he could do some decent bits against Liverpool this week. And Liverpool aren't great defensively. There are rumours circulating as well that apparently Slot's had a fallout. And, you know, if the players potentially have seen that, they could down tools this week. They really, really could down tools this week. Would not shock me to potentially see that one. Forgot to write my question. Palmer or Saka? Palmer's penalty duties and recent explosive form make him value play. I do like the combo with Rice. Yeah, I think that might be the only reason that people sell off Saka is to, of course, afford Cole Palmer with the decent fixtures coming up and the penalty share that he has. And then, of course, you've got Declan Rice, who is doing still exceptionally well and gives you coverage into those Arsenal fixtures. So I do think that is probably the more idyllic combination. So yeah, I understand it. I'm going Gabriel, Rice, Saka in this order for the next few weeks. Yeah, I'm going to probably get Rice back in next week. So I think the moves will bring up Fantasy Football Hub. Let's bring that up quickly. Before we do that, of course, if you are already a member of the FPL cartel, this is now where team reviews, of course, do take place. I will put the link into the chat for that one. But yeah, feel free to come sign up. There is a 14-day free trial. Of course, if you want to stick around afterwards, you can do. If you're already a member of the cartel, get your teams in here for me to, of course, run through them, review them, give you my honest feedback and all that good stuff. So, yeah, this is the place if you want your team reviewing going forward. We're putting it all in the cartel. Same with me and Tom, who's also live right now. This is a joint venture that we've got. Of course, we've got an exclusive podcast, exclusive access to obviously us two. We're always in there. We've got a last man standing competition, which is currently running, mini league prizes for every month, and of course, a big jackpot at the end of the season as well. So get yourself signed up. Like I said, completely free for 14 days if you want to come and test it out. You can ask us as many questions as you want. There's just so much going off in there. And we've got a really good and great community right now. So this... Let's talk through my team then in Fantasy Football Hub, the moves that I'm planning for the next few weeks. So we're probably going to leave Ekitike this week. And the move that I probably will make next week would be to take Mateus Cunha out and do Rice. That would just be one simple move. Dorgu would obviously swap for Anderson like that. Boom, that's fine. We might even get Richards back for the Sunderland game. Great, but I don't really see who he'd play kind of, ahead of, to be honest. Then, of course, as we move forward, game week 23, this is then how the team would line up for this week. And this is probably where I think we could realistically roll again, right? We could roll again. Or, of course, if I want rid of my 2 Liverpool players, what we could do is very easily go Mane in. And then we could go... Who have I got the budget for? Oh, I've got the budget for Palmer here. So Palmer in there like that. So that's be in game week 23. Then obviously in game week 24, this is where then we probably would look to get rid of Foden. And we probably then would bring in Bruno Fernandes for this period. Now, this is how the team would look, obviously, with those transfers. This would rely quite a bit on Richards being back as well to kind of make all this kind of gel and work together, because I don't really want to be playing Mane over the next few weeks. We want to be playing, Richards and stuff like that. So that is how the team is lined up. So this week, we would just roll through. We take 2 into this week. And like I said, Szoboszlai and Ekitike would be fine for the Burnley game. I don't see any real desire to, of course, sell them. We would, of course, shift on Mateus Cunha for Declan Rice. If at this point Richards isn't available, we could also potentially look at some upgrades here to potentially give ourselves a little bit more cover. But like I said, he's not required for that week. Then we take 2 into this week. So then we could get rid of Ekitike, Palmer. Then we would have Richards available, but of course we could potentially look at, maybe going for some other options in here as well. And I believe we have a little bit of money in the bank. Yeah, we have quite a bit of money in the bank here, where we could actually just do Devaney up to Tavernier. Apparently we've not got the money for that. That's frustrating. Maybe that might not be Mane then. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe if not, it would just be like Garner. Something like that. Boom. Then, of course, that would be for potentially a -4, just in case we didn't want to play Mane, but I might just roll him out. If Richards is available, he might just get rolled out as well. Then game week 24, we wouldn't be able to afford Bruno Fernandes, so we couldn't actually go for Garner there. So that is a little bit more playing around is needed here. As you can see, it is just all about give and take at the moment and seeing where people fit in and stuff like that. But yeah, that is kind of the long-term plan, and the long-term structure is that's how I want my midfield to look. I want it to be Palmer. I want it to be Bruno. I want it to be Saka. I want it to be Rice. That is how I want my midfield to look in the next few game weeks. Ultimately, and this is the thing, I might potentially wildcard my way to it. I might potentially take some hits over the next few weeks to get myself there as well. So yeah, there we go. Glasner said he's not ready to start. Is that just today or is that longer term as well? Let's have a look what Glasner said. If it's more longer term, that would be a little bit of a concern and definitely maybe might make me push the button sooner than rather than later. What am I looking for? Fantasy Football Scout. Chris Richards is not fit enough to start, but he will be in the squad against Aston Villa, which is this week. So he's not fit enough to start, but he is back. That is good to know. That is good to know. So that makes this plan a lot more doable. Like I said, because when we get to game week this week here, if he's available, like I will happily just roll him out. I can reset my team. Oh, I didn't mean to reset it fully like that. Whoops. Anyway, that is the end of that. But I've got a plan. Like I said, the midfield is where I'm realistically going to be looking to build up over the next few weeks. Having Richards back does make me feel a lot more confident as well. Like I said, they get a big lengthy break after this, so he should be back for game week 22. So that fills me with a lot of confidence going forward as well. So that's one less issue that we've potentially got to deal with over the next few weeks. Is Paqueta or Minter a priority sell? I only have one free transfer. I've seen Paqueta in training. Minter apparently has a small chance of playing as well. So both could end up playing. Both might not play at all. That is the situation we very easily could find ourselves into as well. Yeah. Getting Dorgu to a Sunderland defender to rotate with Chow could be a good idea. That's not a bad shout, to be fair, Abby. I could do that very easily. I think we can afford Mukelele or Alderente very easily for that team. Like I said, over the next few weeks, it is going to be a lot of swipping and swapping. There might be even a -4 at play at some point, potentially. Like, I'm not against minuses if it gets my team in a position where I really want it going forward. And I also don't hate the idea of potentially maybe looking at a wild card. We also might find out some information around some double game weeks, and that, of course, might then make me justify, making certain moves as well and potentially taking some minuses as well. Soberslide to Bruno G. Don't hate that as a move. If you've got the budget to do that, I really, really don't hate that as a move. Would you do O'Reilly to Chow for one free transfer or save the transfer? I don't really see too much difference in kind of the differences between those two, so I probably would just roll that. Yeah, I probably would just roll that. Bench one, Gordon, Rice, Rogers, Ekitike. I think probably you just bench Ekitike out of those lot. With him being a doubt for the fixture, that's just like the easiest way to really approach it, isn't it, to be honest? It is just the kind of easiest way to just tackle that. Just bench him. Done. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. He says Sanchez, Gabriel Timber, Dallo, Mukelele, Saka, Foden, Cherky, Cunha, Wilson, Haaland, Ekitike. 1 free transfers with bench 2 transfer or 1-2. Okay, hang on. Let's have a look at this then. Bench 2. That is difficult. Oh, I just hit my mic. Ooh, who do you bench in that defense, man? I think you play Saka, you play Foden, you play Cherky, you play Cunha. So I probably bench Wilson, and I probably bench Ekitike, and then I probably play the rest. Sanchez 1, Gabriel, Timber, Hall, Dallo, Mukelele, Saka, Foden, Cherky, Cunha, Haaland. Yeah, that's your lot. That's your lot. And then I do that. It is going to be very useful. Yeah, I do think you make a cracking point, Abby, around navigating the blanks and stuff. That is why I am so reluctant to do it. I think, look, if I can get maybe by with like a -4 and save the wild card for the blanks and stuff, it might get me in a better position. So, yeah. Would you start DCL or Dorgu? Also, someone who misses the first game weeks, would you say going for a fresh game week 21 second chance is optimal? Hey, if you've missed the first part of the season, then go for it. Go for it. I would be tempted to start Dorgu on that one. Who is the best replacement for O'Reilly? Probably Chow, isn't it, really? Chow or my FPL cartel pick at the moment is Nathan Collins one I'm plugging. Brentford should have scored a hell of a lot more set pieces than they have. Their main threat, of course, from them is going to be Collins as well. So I like those two as probably my picks to go for. I absolutely love that you do this, and what was that? And you answer so kindly. You got a forever support here. Thank you. That is all we try and do. Like, obviously, I know we can't get around to everybody's question, but we try and answer as many as we possibly can. We try and help you guys out as best as we can. Obviously, I know sometimes it can get a little bit busy in these streams and stuff like that, but your support, like I said, is always appreciated on this channel. And you guys are the ones that have made, obviously, made the channel what it is as we approach 25,000 subscribers. So, like I said, forever grateful. Forever grateful. Like I said, we're going to do team reviews in a little while. If people want to get them sent in, I will put the link in for the FPL cartel. This is where they're going to be going for future references over on our Discord server. If you're already a member of the FPL cartel, get your teams in as well. Get them sent in and we can have a good look and review as well. Lots of super chats flying in as well. If you, of course, don't want to send me a super chat, come join the cartel. Like, for the price what you're paying for a super chat, realistically, you can get yourself into the cartel for a month and have access to me and Golden Goal for a month. You can also get your team reviewed constantly, and you can ask us multiple questions. That is probably better value for your money than spending super chats, but of course, I do appreciate the super chats as well. Start 2, Garner, O'Reilly, Ekitike. I think you play the first 2 for me, realistically, mate. They're the first 2 that I would be going for. Bruno Fernandes is available against Burnley. We won't find that out till we get Fletcher's press conference, but that is at 5 o'clock. So some of the big content creators will, of course, cover that off a little bit later for you. As we'll be wrapping up about 4:30 anyway. Verts to Rodgers, don't hate it. Don't hate it. Remember, though, Liverpool do have Burnley next week. So it is a very, very good fixture where you could see, somebody potentially going off. I think it's now 9 game weeks in a row a player has hit a double-digit haul against Burnley. So that bodes well for your Manchester United boys, but it also can bode well for Liverpool the week after as well. Who can I replace Minter with? We've kind of gone through this a few times. My top options would be Tavernier, Enzo, Garner, Xhaka, Stack. Those would be the players that I would personally be looking for. If you want to get your team rated by me, just come over to this link right here. It will send you to the FPL cartel. Sign up for that and you'll get access to our Discord server. Then inside it, there is a section that literally says deadline and there'll be a bit that says FPL Tom streams. All you have to do is just put it there. Simple as that. Done. Will Miley start with Livramento and Trippier back? He can play in the midfield. He can play in the midfield. I would be a little bit more scarce longer term about his minutes. I think he had a good game the other day, though, so I couldn't see him maybe, starting again this one. And then potentially the FA Cup is maybe where they start to bring Livramento and Trippier back in terms of their fitness and get them up in an easier game. That could very easily be the play that I see them going for. But my bench cover is Gehi, VVD, and Mane. What should the order be in case Ekitike doesn't play? Probably, I'd be tempted to even put maybe Mane first sub. Like, I really, really would. Tavernier price looks like it could go down tonight. Maybe if you wait, you can get him in next week. Jeez, it's going down. Mate, that's going to be going straight back up after tomorrow night, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe hold off on the Tavernier moves for this week then, guys. Maybe hold off on them. Cherky to Foden. No, not really for me. Frimpong or Chow or Timber longer term. I think your longer term options are your Chows and your Timbers there to me. Start Sobo or Ekitike. I mean, Sobo's got pen share, so he probably starts it really, doesn't he? Sell Minter or Kudus. Apparently Minter has a small chance of playing, and Kudus, I think they said it was a long-term injury, so I'd be more tempted with that one to potentially remove. Got Tarkowski, Cash, Gabriel, Chow with Thiago, Timber, and on the bench. Yeah, seems like a decent side. What is the best wildcard team you can make? I think I probably would have like a power midfield 5. So for me, it would be probably, if we know Bruno's going to play the Burnley game, I would just go and get him. Palmer, Saka, Rice, Tavernier, Haaland, Thiago up front, Chow and Gabriel as my 2 defenders, rotating around some cheaper guys. Your goalkeeper, again, can be whoever you want. Sanchez could be a great buy who looks to be available for this game week as well. So that is probably how a wild card would look for me. Reinders or Raul plus Sanchez or Dubravka. I'm also starting Wilson. I mean, Reinders has been slamming the goals in, hasn't he, recently? And it's actually been pretty decent form. However, I never like benching penalty takers, and that is what Raul, of course, is. But I think if you've already got that Fulham attack covered, I would be maybe then tempted to potentially go with Reinders, and I'd still probably go with Sanchez on that one. Playing Dorgu, Chow and O'Reilly, but bench Timber and Virgil. I probably would leave it at that. Yeah, probably would leave it at that. Sold Ekitike and Minter for Watkins and Rice for a -4 to gain 0.3 in price changes. Your thoughts? I'm not the biggest fan of Watkins. I do just think the minutes are a little bit scattered, to be honest. Yeah, they're not the best of those minutes. They're a little bit all over the shop. Now I know he's been incredible in recent weeks, but yeah, longer term, like I said, he is somebody that I would be a little bit skeptical of going forward. Let's just wait and see on the Chelsea stuff. Like the new manager could absolutely smash it. You never know. Yeah, Bruno is 100% a player I want to have straight back in my team. Yeah. What questions have we got in the chat? Where are we at in terms of likes as well? If I do stop talking, guys, I'm just trying to save my voice a little bit. We're going to be streaming for another 2.5 hours, so I don't want to completely kill it. We're up to 40 likes already. If you do enjoy, obviously, the content, make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're hitting subscribe as well. Would be amazing if we could hit 25k today. I think with that one, I would just start Ekitike and then just you've got Raul ready to come in if not. What about Michael Keane? He's okay. He's all right. I don't know how what his minutes are going to look like longer term with Branthwaite back. That would be my only concern. Like when Branthwaite is back, he will probably start to go in. I think you could probably get away with Keane for the next few weeks as well. Kudus, we don't know because the scan result's not back yet. I guess that's just tough titty then, isn't it, really? Do we get rid of the bench boost? I would personally wait. We could have quite a few doubles and, playing a chip in a double game week also. It opens a lot of opportunities up, really. Virgil to Gabriel and bench Ekitike. I have Timber also. Virgil to Gabriel and bench Ekitike. I probably would do the Verge to Gabriel move. Yeah, Gabriel is a player you're going to want to have longer term anyway, so I think that's probably the move I would go for. Should I start Van der Ven or Lafie or Anderson? I'm guessing that is Anderson from Forest. I'd be tempted to play him. Like, you can just roll him out. Bench Virgil, Wilson, Ekitike for Thiago. I mean, probably Ekitike if he's a doubt for the game. Otherwise, I probably would just bench Wilson. And then, yeah, if Ekitike doesn't happen, then Wilson comes straight back in. Easy. Start Raya or Dubravka, Tom. I probably would still go with David Raya for me. Triple Fulham. So sell Jimenez or get Chow for Anderson or Nico O'Reilly. I mean, who would you realistically sell Jimenez to? Like, you're only going to probably downgrade him to a cheap forward, maybe like a Mane. Other than that, I don't really see like a value in that transfer. I think you could potentially get more out of the Anderson move. I wouldn't personally take Raul out. I think, I never try and bench penalty takers. It can always end pretty disastrously. I personally, if you're going to set that wild card up, Andy, I personally would just pick one of the two. And then you can also get yourself the Bruno. Like, the Bruno thing is more important than wasting a transfer further down the line, in my personal opinion. Yep, there will be doubles out there. There will be blanks as well with the Carabao Cup. There always is. And you never know. We might get some games called off for weather and stuff like that. I don't think I would do the swap from Ekitike to Watkins just to then buy him back for the Burnley game. That for me just seems like two transfers that could be used on potentially, there could be some really good options over the next few weeks that people are clambering towards, and you would feel a little bit silly, maybe of wasting some transfers on just a bit of a luxury move for me personally. Unless you've got those transfers banked up, I think for me I probably wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Like, you could very easily be left with egg on your face. When to sell Verts? Probably after the Burnley game. Either you sell him now and you just sacrifice you're not going to get the Burnley game, or you sell him for the Burnley game and that's it, really, isn't it? That is it. Let's have a look. We've got a few more people joining the FPL cartel, so really do appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for heading over. Like I said, if you do want to get your team reviewed by me, head over to the FPL cartel Discord. I'll put the link in the chat once again for you guys. Give me a second. Where is it? There we go. So yeah, if you come over to the FPL cartel, we've got our section set up for our deadline stream reviews, and yeah, get your team sent in, and we'll take a look at them. We'll take a look at them. After the Burnley match, I guess no more Liverpool players. The thing is, their fixtures aren't even terrible. Like Bournemouth, Newcastle City's not great, but then there's a period where you look at 26 and you go, we might be back on Liverpool by game week 26. Sunderland, Forest, West Ham, Wolves. But at that point, obviously, the landscape could look very, very different. Like it really, really could look very, very different. I think we've just had our first team review sent in for today's stream. So let's go and take a look at that one. Obviously, like I said, guys, if you do want to get your team reviewed by me, head over to the FPL Cartel Discord, and we will try and review as many teams as possible. So we've got Ooze has just sent in their team. They've sent it in the team review section rather than the stream section, but it's fine. We'll let them off. Rolling 1 or 2 weeks, says Ooze here. What else has he put? He's put 1 free transfer. I think you could very easily roll through this week with that. That would be fine. Then you've got Verts for the Burnley game. Fine. Kroupy could also become a decent option if, like, Kluivert's out, Semenyo's leaving. His minutes could be pretty decent. I think you've got, like, some of the big hitters for this week. You've got your captaincy right. No, United could be a disaster against Burnley, but hey-ho, it's worked out so far, so well for people. So I don't hate that. And like I said, yeah, I think you could very easily roll through that and start to bank some transfers and look to get, your Bruno Fernandez's, your Palmer's, your Rice's in over the next few weeks. So, yeah, I don't mind that. Like I said, guys, if you do want to, of course, get your team reviewed by me, come over to the FPL Cartel, and we are doing team reviews over on there. There we go. On a wildcard this week, which combo do you prefer? Mane, Kroupy, Chow, Bruno G, or Barnes, Thiago? As soon as I saw Barnes, probably not the pick for me. Yeah. Probably not the pick. Oh, it's the cheap Barnes, not Harvey Barnes, isn't it? So it would be Barnes, Thiago, Richards, Tav. Oh. I do like the Newcastle fixtures that are coming up, so I probably would go with the more shorter term option. I probably would go with that one. I think that could be a really explosive pick over the next few weeks. However, Newcastle do have a hell of a lot of fixtures coming up. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going option 2. Abby has put, I'm honestly thinking about keeping Ekitike until my wildcard in 32. The Newcastle and Manchester City games aren't that bad as they both at home, plus City are without both of their main centre-backs. Very true. Yeah. Like I said, there are some good fixtures in there, of course, for the Liverpool players. And I do feel by the time we get back to game week 26, we might all be looking to, of course, hop back onto them as well. If you want to send your team in for review, Abby, I know you are a member of the cartel, so if you want to send it in, and we can take a look for you as well, and obviously offer any advice or just even let us know what you're planning this game week. Which 2 players would you start? Ekitike, Sob, Anderson, Alderente, considering the fact that Liverpool play Arsenal away? I wouldn't bench Sob just because of penalty appeal, and I probably would be tempted to play Alderente, would be my other one. Yeah, I'd be tempted to play that. What about Kusanov? I mean, there are rumours circulating that City are probably going to be looking at Gahey. Would not shock me to maybe see them potentially go and look for a centre-back this January with both Diaz and Gvardiol out. Bench 2 out of Richards, Ekitike, Dorgu, and Lafi. Probably Richards and Ekitike. Flip a coin for Cunha or Haaland captaincy. Yep, no problem. Haaland is going to be tails, and heads is going to be Cunha. Okay? Heads is going to be Cunha. Heads. It's Cunha. It's Cunha. Yeah. I think longer term, like I want to get away from this and just stick with a 2-striker formation. I think that is going to be the player that I'm going to go for. And yeah, just have a little bit of patience in Thiago, and he still plays decent minutes. After Andrews' comments today about him just going to be rolling him out every single week, feel pretty good about him as well. Cool. Looks like we've had another team sent in for review, so let's go and take a look at that one. Thank you very much, guys. Like I said, if you do want to, of course, get your team in for reviews, make sure you are using the right section of the Discord, and there is a section marked, Golden Goal Stream, FPL Tom Stream, and that is the place to, of course, come and take a look. We had a look at my team in the cartel last night, and I decided on rolling, so letting others get their teams reviewed today as I'm all set. Cool. No problem, Abby. Like I said, though, if you want to get your team sent over, we don't mind. We're here for that. This is Ben's team for this game week. I think you're fine to go, mate. To be honest, I do think you're fine to go. Palmer, Saka, Rice, Cunha, Gordon. That midfield is looking absolutely stacked, to be honest, mate. Anderson or Alderente, I guess, is kind of a 50-50 call. Both could hit DEFCON. Both, I believe, have similar clean sheet percentages for this week. And if, of course, Van der Berg doesn't play, again, Alderente just comes in, or, Canate if it really gets kind of, thin deep. But I think you're looking pretty good for this week, mate, to be honest. I think if you haven't already, I probably would just roll through that. That is probably what I would just do with that team. So, yeah, thank you for sending your team in, man. Do appreciate it, as always. Like I said, if you want to get your team reviewed, they are now over in the FPL Cartel Discord. That is where all team reviews will be going from now on. So yeah, get your team over in that bit. Is Turkey going to play? I imagine so, yes. Is Enzo Fernandez a buy? I do think he looks like a pretty decent option with some Chelsea heading in, some good fixtures. His underlying numbers also look pretty decent, so yeah. Elliot Anderson or Wilson as a long-term pick. Elliot Anderson 100%. Just has some set piece share, DEFCON. You don't have to worry about him. He just does his job, really. He's nothing glamorous or nothing fancy, so don't expect that, but he just ticks along. Thank you for helping today's stream get up to 50 likes already, guys. Do appreciate it. Obviously, these afternoon streams, they do require me to take, obviously, a little bit of time off work. So if you do, obviously, enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe and all that good stuff. And hopefully we can continue to do that, take more time off work as the year does progress. Yeah. I'm sure everyone at work absolutely loves it when I take days off to go and stream and chat to you guys. But it's where we're at. It's where we're at, isn't it? It's where we're at. Start Wilson or Van de Ven. Who've Spurs got? Spurs have actually got a pretty decent away record, so I might be tempted to go with Van de Ven on that one. It is a nice mug. Thank you very much. Match and Mills bought me this one, so do appreciate it. Halftime brew, it says on it. Came with some socks as well that I need to add to my collection. So, yeah, decent. People asking me what I do for work. I work in sports broadcasting. There you go. That's all you're going to get out of me. My current rank is 59k. Yeah, I probably should put that. I probably should put that in the title. I completely forgot about that. But let's put that in the title. There we go. That's now in the title. Hi Tom, loving the content as always. I am wildcarding next week, so who are your best suggestions for a 1 week mid punt? I have Cunha, Foden, Gordon, etc, but tempted to swap Paqueta for Grealish. I don't mind that. Is this a good week for a free hit? 5 players from Liverpool? Potentially, but I think obviously with the blanks and doubles coming up, those are going to be better weeks to potentially go for it. I took a look at the team. I'll review it again for you though, mate. We'll have a look. I think we've had a few more sent in as well. Yeah, we've had a few more sent in, so we'll go and take a look at some of those in a second for you, mate. Was that one of the very nicely wrapped Christmas presents? It wasn't actually. It was in a bag that I got. Like Mills did a advent calendar for me. So every day there was like a new present to open, and this was one of them. So really do appreciate it. So thank you very much. But the nicely wrapped presents were also very good. She did a great job this Christmas. Cool. Let's go ahead and then let's. I'm losing my track of thoughts. Let's head over back to the Discord then. Here we are. Obviously reviewing a few more teams that have been sent in. Thank you guys for everybody that sent in theirs. We run through yours, Ben, very quickly. And I did say, look, if Van der Berg doesn't play, you'll be okay. Alderente should come in. I've been a little bit surprised that Van der Berg has continued to miss games. But him being back on the bench, I probably do feel confident that he potentially could work his way back into the side. If not, Alderente comes in. I think the rest of the team looks absolutely ridiculous for this week. So I personally wouldn't make any moves or any transfers. I think you should be good for this week. My mouse has disappeared. There it is. Mivan2912 says, Game week 20 was fantastic. Now thinking about what to bench here. Can you help me, Tom? Of course we can, my friend. Of course we can. O'Reilly, Chow, Gabriel, Rice, Foden, Cunha, Saka, Raul. Oh. Now, see, I never like benching penalty takers, right? Because of Raul, because of Thiago. I would be tempted to play Anderson ahead of Raul just because I think he will hit DEFCON and I think he will probably come away with 4 points and it's a good fixture. But I still never like benching the penalty takers. But I think I probably would, like I said, just be tempted to go with Anderson instead of Raul for me. That is personally what I probably would go for. Other than that, team looks absolutely fantastic, mate. Team looks great. 1 free transfer, 1.9 million in the bank, and thinking of rolling 2 weeks. Cool. Yeah, I think you could very easily roll through this team this week. Obviously, you get Verts for the Burnley game next week. Yeah, I think that's a very easy team to roll through, my friend. And Ben just sending in his team again. Like I said, Ben, yeah, I think you could very easily roll through this one, mate. And yeah, I think you're all good. Think you are good. The Discord link. Yes, let me send you that, mate, in the chat right now. So this is our link to the sub launch. It obviously includes myself and Golden Goal Fantasy Football as well, who is also live right now. We're both doing simultaneous streams. I imagine a lot of you are subscribed to both our channels. So yeah, if you want to get your team reviewed by me or him, like both options are there. You can ask questions in the chat. We've got a bot that now gives you automated updates as well for FPL. Like there's just so much going off in there, and it is a really good server. We've got some absolutely cracking people in there as well. So yeah, what's not to love? Obviously, we'll keep dipping and dabbing straight back into that when more and more do appear. A 3-week punt, maybe somebody like a Bruno Guimaraes could be an okay option. I don't hate that as an option. An Enzo Fernandez, but like I think you probably want him longer term anyway. Just checking Twitter, see what we've had. David Moyes confirmed that Michael Keane came through his comeback unscathed in game week 20. KDH, Alcaraz, Coleman, and Branthwaite remain out. Marco Silva confirmed there are no new injury updates. Nobody cares about Wolves. The Chris Richards update that we got is Chris Richards is not fit enough to start, but he will be in the squad versus Aston Villa. So good for people that, of course, are going to be going through for him in the next few weeks. The Cherries confirmed that Justin Kluivert has undergone knee surgery. So that is why we've been talking a lot about potentially looking at Tavernier at 5.6. Penalty share, set piece share could be a great little option. Potentially no updates kind of on Andrews. Didn't give any updates around Thiago or any of the other players. Said there are no new injuries concerning there. Peppers confirmed that Gvardiol will be out for a long time, and Ruben Diaz faces 4 to 6 weeks on the sidelines, while John Stones is not ready to return. Dan Ballard came through unscathed, so he's good. And Sanchez Cucurella will train today. Caicedo returns from a suspension as well. Yeah, that's about it. That is about it that we've got for team news. Just giving you a little bit of an update. Hope you enjoyed that. Did you used to play football as a kid and wanted to pursue it as a career? Yeah, of course. That's how I've got my broken nose, from playing football. I got elbowed and there we go, broken nose. I was never good enough, though. I quickly realized I was never good enough, and that is why I looked at doing other things within football. Like, I still enjoyed football, and it's always been a passion of mine, and I've still always enjoyed it. But I realized from probably maybe about the age of like 9, 10, like I was never going to be good enough at football. So started to look at other opportunities. So did refereeing from when I was about 14 to 18. But I was always into like filming and like editing stuff and like, making like silly videos with my brother and my dad in the back garden and like, messing about and stuff like that. And obviously I kind of put these passions together about nearly 4 years ago now. And here we are. OBS is disconnected. Brilliant. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I don't know if I cut out for a second or I cut out for an extended period of time. But OBS shat bed apparently and couldn't connect to anything. So if I have cut out, I apologize. If I'm still good and you can still hear me and see me, great. Ran into a VVB. It was a big elbow, to be fair. Look at that. It is really bent, isn't it? I think if we ever go really big and we make millions, that's the first thing that I'll ever do is I'll get a nose job. We'll fix that. The amount of abuse I get on TikTok for my nose. Sound is glitching in and out. Okay, that's not good. Let me know if it's fixed. Okay, let me know if it's fixed. If it's still having issues, we might have to restart the stream potentially. Sound is gone now. Like in a good way or a bad way? Like, can you hear me or am I just miming? I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I'm just going to put the stream on my phone. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. See what we've got. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I'm just going to put the stream on my phone. Sounds okay to me. Sounds okay to me. Cool. I think we're good. Cool. It's like a poorly ad-libbed advert. Brilliant. Cool. As long as we're back. As long as we're back, that's the main thing. Sound back. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Let's answer some questions then. Yeah, if you're having issues with the sound, just hit the refresh on the stream and it should come back straight away. Just pop back out, pop back in. And yeah, hopefully it fixes it. Hi, Tom. I need the coin to help me decide on who to start, Sobo or Alderente and Raya and Dubravka. Right, let's do your first one then. Sobo is going to be heads. Tails is going to be Alderente. Tails, Alderente. And who was the other one? Raya or Dubravka. Right, Raya can be heads. Tails can be Dubravka, okay? Tails, boom. Sound is working fine. It's just the mouth moves, then the sound comes later, so I wouldn't worry. Okay, what we can do for that is very simple. Are we ready? Right. Hopefully, this fixes it. Ta-da! If it hasn't fixed it, I don't know what to suggest. We're just absolutely cooked for the rest of the stream, I guess. But hopefully it fixes it. Hopefully it fixes it. Thoughts on Bruno G as captain? Probably not for me. Yeah, probably not for me. I think Haaland's never blanked against Brighton. Some of the best projected goal numbers for this week as well. I just think he is the easiest one to go for. Yeah, he's the easiest one to go for. Did that fix it? Hey, we're back. We're so back. Cool. Suggestions on a set and forget goalkeeper, please, other than Raya. Probably going to be your Pickford and Sanchez, probably my favourite ones to go for. Yeah, Pickford and Sanchez are probably my favourite ones to go for. What are my thoughts on Reece James? Probably not the pick for me. Probably not the pick for me. Do I watch Baller League? I do not watch Baller League, no. It's not something for me. I think Haaland is probably the best one to go for, to be honest. Apparently, we're still out of sync. That's annoying. Let's watch it back. Probably not the pick for me. I look fine on mine. Do I watch Baller League? I do not watch Baller League, no. It's not something for me. I think Haaland is probably the best one to go for, to be honest. Apparently, we're still out of sync. I think we look fine watching the stream back. I think watching the stream back, we look fine, but if if we have any issues, do let me know. Honestly, really stuck by Mane or KPJ. Who would you buy, Tom? I think given off the recent stuff, I probably would be tempted to go with Mane, but KPJ could be a great option, to be honest. Apparently, we're good. People are just trolling. Cool. We're all good. We're all good. Thank you, guys. Thank you, chat. Appreciate you all. Is Van der Berg a sell? I mean, if he doesn't start again, then yeah, I definitely think I would be. Yeah, it's probably just a wind-up, isn't it, really? We look fine on my end, so I can't see any issues, so I'm just going to stick with it. Garner or Rodgers? I think Garner is just a safe and steady 4 every single week. Rodgers can be explosive, but his underlying numbers are just a little bit poo for me, to be honest. Yeah, they are just a little bit poo. Should I bench Michael Keane, Chow, Gabriel, or Dorgu to sub on for... I probably would bench Dorgu out of all of those options you've just gone for there. I'd prefer to start Garner ahead of DCL. Hopefully early in returns. Rodgers, Gordon, or Bruno G on a wild card. I probably would be leaning more towards Bruno G out of all of those options. Should I buy Pickford and sell Raya? If you need to free up some funds and maybe an Arsenal spot, then yeah, probably go for it. Favorite British YouTuber? I don't know. Who do I watch a lot at the moment? I don't know. I've been watching a lot of, is it like Beard Meets Food? I can't remember what his name is, but me and Mills watch him. We watch a bit of Raptor Ross, but the Geo Raptor Ross before bed sometimes. It's about all the YouTube I watch these days. Other than that, like, it's probably just FPL content. So, yeah. Update on Paqueta, we have nothing as of yet. He has been pictured in training today, so we'll have to wait and see if we get any further updates. Best 6 million defenders or below. You are probably going to be looking at like a Chow, realistically, is probably the one. Collins is my other favourite to potentially go for as well. Yeah. Thoughts on a wildcard next week? Thinking wildcard has lost some of its strength now with the 5 free transfers you can acquire. It has and it hasn't, because a wild card it can work as a get out of jail free card, really, sometimes, can't it? And sometimes you don't have the ability to bank the transfers. Like, you can be in positions where you just get injuries every single week, and it can really stack up, can't it, to be honest? Nico, yeah, obviously like Nico Omalana. I mean, who doesn't in the UK, to be honest? He is he's a decent one. He's a steady one. Could I do a free hit? People are asking me about. Do you have a wild card team? Yep. Let's head over to Fantasy Football Hub and put 2 of those together for you guys. All right. How about that? How about that? Right. Let's do a wild card team first. So I probably would have Sanchez. Apparently he's back in training, so I wouldn't worry about that one. Dubravka, Palmer, I probably still would have Saka on it. If we get news later that Bruno is fit and available, I would want Bruno Fernandes. I would like to have a... Oh my God, what's his name? Tavernier. And I probably would have a Rice. Gabriel. Haaland. Chow. Thiago. That is pretty much what a wild card would maybe look like. There are maybe one or two changes you could do to it. I think either that spot potentially comes like, you know, an Enzo. That's where you could realistically go for it. Or Saka, you don't put Saka in, instead you go for like a Timber in here and have double Arsenal defence. That is probably the basis of what a wildcard team would look like this week for me. In terms of a free hit team for this week, I still would genuinely have thingy. I'd have probably Pope in there as well. I can't just like... Hang on, let me refresh it, see if that fixes it. So what would my team look like for this week? We probably would have very similar-ish backline to what I'm actually rocking right now. I probably would go Tarkin here. Yeah, I probably would go Tarkin here. Would swap him out. Would be tempted with Palmer on the free hit. Obviously, no need for Ekitike. We just drop him down to Mane. And what are we missing? 1.2 million in the bank over. Not great. So that probably would just become Keane. Can that be now afforded? 0.3. You can really just downgrade that to Gui if you wanted. Mark Gui. Or you could still go for Mane in here. Like, you could just go Mane. And then that can just become... How much have we got for that? 4.1. Like, whoever 4.1 million defender is. Like, Rodon's 3.9. He's probably not going to play, but whatever. So that would probably be the basis of what a free hit team would maybe look like this week. You could maybe make some changes in the midfield, like a Garner instead of potentially a Mane or a Cherky. You could very easily get a Cherky in here, actually. So, where is he? How do you spell his name? Anyway, Cherky could come in here. You could leave Mane, upgrade Devaney to like a Tavernier or whatever, and that's probably what I would then look to go for. Yeah, probably would be something like that. Cool. Let's see what's kicking off in the chat then. Is it just me or is Raya so frustrating? You know what's going to happen? Everyone is going to buy back into the Arsenal defence, and Tavernier... I'm sorry. Raya's just going to start keeping clean sheets again once we've all sold him. And he will be the easiest way into that Arsenal defence, and everyone will just go for him. Yeah. That's the way I can see it going, to be honest. We are approaching 100 likes on today's stream, guys. So if you are enjoying it, make sure, of course, you are hitting that subscribe button. It is appreciated as always. And yeah. Is Thiago a hold? A very easy hold. Minutes are good. Yeah, he's just a very easy hold, to be honest, for me. I haven't owned Rare all season. I bought him in at a time where I just felt I needed just a steady Arsenal pick. Like, I think it was like game week 6 I bought him in, and I just haven't touched him since. I don't think Ekitike is a must. I think if you're just going to rock a 2-striker formation, like, whoever your other striker is, it'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah, for the triple game week could also be a very, very tasty little option, couldn't he? He could be a very, very tasty little option. Bruno G or Cherky? I prefer Bruno G for me personally, longer term. Would you sell Ekitike to Watkins or Thiago? I think if you can get away with maybe benching him this week, then you'll be fine. If not, then yeah, probably move him on to Thiago. Bowen or Watkins? I think Watkins. I put him in my for a short-term pick. He could be a very, very nice option. He could be a very, very good option. Could Watkins. Scored it, obviously 7 attacking returns in the past 5 game weeks. Palace actually have only won 2 home games as well at home. So yeah. Team reviews are just kind of done in dribs and drabs right now. Whenever they come into the FPL Cartel Discord, that is when we'll be doing them. So yeah, there you go. Now that Gabriel has returned, Arsenal should potentially be at their greatest defensive form. Yeah, they should be. What's wrong with playing triple Arsenal defence against Liverpool? I really don't hate that, to be honest. I don't think Liverpool are like some super team. And if you look at the betting odds, they're not terrible. They're not terrible for a Arsenal clean sheet this week. I think it's what, a 37% chance of a clean sheet? Please be the right one. Yeah, there we go. So here are the numbers. And as you can see here, we're Arsenal. 37% chance of a clean sheet. The same as Brentford at home to Sunderland. The same as like Newcastle have got against Leeds. And everybody would be feeling pretty comfortable about, of course, looking to go for, a Newcastle defender this week. Captain Bowen last week got away with it as he outscored Haaland, but frustrating as to what could have been. I mean, it's the other way around, isn't it, really, where you've got to think, if Haaland puts that goal in, maybe he could have opened the floodgates and really started hammering them in. So, you outscored Haaland in the end and maybe be thankful of that. And you took the bold move and you went for it. So, yeah. Rank your best Arsenal picks. Gabriel, Reyes, Saka, Rice. Gabriel, Rice, probably Saka. That's my order. Would you sell Ekitike to get Rice in? I don't think this is an absolute must move right now. Especially if it's going to be for a minus, no. But yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. No, I don't think I would do that. Not for me anyway. Gordon or Cherky on a wild card? I genuinely don't think I would have either on a wild card, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, Jacob Murphy's injury could make Gordon's minutes look a lot more secure. However, they've got Carabao, they've got 2 rounds of Champions League in January on top of all the Premier League football they've got. I would be a little bit concerned. Best replacement for Minter got 0.4 in the bank. Tavernier, Enzo, Gardner, Xhaka, Stack. They're my top picks. Start Bowen or Rodgers. Surely there's got to be somebody else you could bench there. Surely there has to be somebody else you could bench there. Watkins or Bowen in the free hit. I still probably would prefer to go for Watkins. Yeah. Palace have lost their last... Well, they've not won in their last 5 games at home. They've only won 2 at home all season as well. So, yeah. I don't think I personally go for it. Chelsea have the best upcoming fixtures. Saving Saka for Palmer. Replacement will jump in 2 weeks. Yeah, makes sense. VVD for Gabriel is a must. Already have Timber. Yeah, probably I would be looking to get rid of Verge. And I think Gabriel, as we can see here, the numbers are still suggesting it's... Like, if you replace that Liverpool badge with, like, Fulham, everyone would feel very comfortable about making that move and playing, playing their Arsenal players, playing their double Arsenal defence and whatever. So I think sometimes you have to ignore the badge a little bit on there and actually just look at what the number is telling you and kind of just make a kind of, I would say forming your own... I can't word what I'm trying to say, but kind of forming your own opinion rather than just solely taking what the data is telling you. And I think I probably personally for me would just look at what the data is telling me there. Don't care that it's a Liverpool fixture and still see a 37% probability of a clean sheet. That is where I would be at for that one for me personally. We are closing in on 100 likes on today's stream, by the way, guys. If, of course, you are enjoying the content, make sure you're hitting that like button. Let's see if we could get up to 100. It would be greatly appreciated, as always. And yeah, just keep on trucking, I guess. Keep on trucking, keep on ticking over. See how close we can get to that 25k mark today. Would be amazing if, of course, we could hit that that milestone. We'll be live till about 4:30 as well, so we will try and keep you guys abreast of any of the transfer situations, the injuries, anything like that, any early team news we get. We will try and keep you, of course, updated as well. Minter to Gardner or Enzo. I think Enzo's got more upside. Gardner is just a very steady 4 points a week player for me personally. Yeah. Gabriel isn't going to score back-to-back, right? What makes him so good that other picks just for this game week, suppose? You say that, but Liverpool actually are one of the worst sides in the league for goals conceded from non-penalty set-piece situations. Not even the league. They're actually one of the worst sides in Europe for this metric. You flip that on the head. Who are the best side for that? It's Arsenal. They're best at scoring goals from set plays. One of the best XG set plays in European football right now. So it kind of, for me, you look at that data and you do just go, Liverpool are vulnerable. Arsenal are great at this. I think we could maybe see Gabriel score again, or at least a set piece goal. But who is, of course, their main set piece threat? It is Gabriel. So, yeah, I would not be shocked to see a set piece goal go in from Arsenal. I really wouldn't. Right, I'm a little bit nippy, so I'm just going to quickly put my jumper on. It's just there next to me, so I'm just going to put it on, and then, yeah, go. Yeah, Liverpool from set pieces. Oh, bad. They're very bad. Very bad. My arm's stuck. This is what you tune in for, right? You tune in to watch a man struggle to put his jumper on. There you go. We don't do team reviews over on X anymore. They are all available in the FPL Cartel Discord. If you want a link, here's the link. One free transfer, Minter to Tav or Roll. I'm starting Ekitike, VVD, Minter, and Gahey on the bench. I mean, if you could just bench him, that's fine. Like, if you've got the cover, maybe you could just wait. Apparently, Tav might be going down tonight as well, so you might be able to make a little bit of savings into him as well. What team do I support? I support Mansfield Town, who play in League One. Big game for us this weekend in the FA Cup. Got Sheffield United away. Got my tickets for that yesterday, so super happy, super excited to go to Bramall Lane. It is a ground I've never been to. One of the biggest I've been to from Mansfield. We don't usually get good cup draws, and that's a nice day out for us. Not too far to go. We're taking like 4,800 people. Should be a decent little day out, I think. Yeah, it should be a pretty decent day out. So I'm happy about that one. Watching Arsenal at set pieces is scary because they look like they could score every time, and watching Liverpool defend them also looks like we could concede every single time. Yeah, like I said, I think Gabriel, or at least there is going to be a set piece goal from Arsenal in this game. I genuinely do believe that. I really, really do believe it. So yeah. Wildcard goalkeeper Sanchez, Roofs for rotation. I personally don't like rotating goalkeepers. It's just not for me. It is genuinely just not for me. Would you keep both Minter and Ekitike even if your covers are Lafia and Anderson? Probably, yeah. I know, both of those can just cover and do an all right job for this week. Should I sell Timber? Probably not for me, mate. I have Ekitike, Paqueta in my team. No free transfers. Am I cooked? Apparently Paqueta's back in training, so might play. Minter to Enzo, valid. Yeah, I think that's a fine move. Mane or Krupi? I think Krupi could be a decent option because, of course, Semenyo leaving, Tav now out. Could maybe see some okay minutes, but Mane's minutes are like looking really good. Like 2 back-to-back 90s, then an 85. And scoring goals, he looks like an okay option. Morgan Rogers, a good long-term buy. I personally don't like Morgan Rogers. I don't like paying 7.5 million for a guy that has no set piece share, doesn't hit defensive contributions, and is putting up 0.29 XGI per 90. I'm just not a big fan of that. I'm in the same position as you, Ekitike, Dorgu, and Cunha. What is the plans for them? I'm switching them, and to who for? So Ekitike and Szoboszlai will remain within the side for this week. So will Cunha. So will Dorgu. The long-term plan, and I ran through this a little bit earlier in the stream, is to go from after the burn. Well, next week will be to replace Cunha with Rice. Then after that, we will probably be looking at going Ekitike and Szoboszlai out, down to Mane and get Cole Palmer in. Then we'll probably be looking at what to do with Phil Foden or Bukayo Saka, and that could then easily become our Bruno Fernandes spot. Of course, if we don't want to go for that route as well, Dorgu could just become a Sunderland defender and actually rotates quite nicely with the Newcastle fixtures over the next few weeks. So could be an Alderente, one of those guys that can just come in and just be, a steady Eddie. Who would I like to see as the next United manager? Does it really matter? Does it even matter at this point? It's just an absolute car crash of a club. And they just really need to sort it out. It's just rotten from the top, isn't it? And it has been for years. It's just they've got no idea what they're doing. So, yeah. Which match would you think is the high scoring one? Good question. I think Fulham-Chelsea could be a good game. I think Brighton will probably be a good game. And I think the Liverpool game will have goals in it. But I'm going to go with Fulham-Chelsea as my highest scoring for this week. Thoughts on Tavernier and Krupi after Semenyo leaves? I really like Tavernier. Penalties, set piece share. Could be great with the Kluivert injury as well now. Bench 2, Gahey, Ekitike, or Wilson. I probably would bench Ekitike and... Who've Palace got this week? Probably Wilson? Yeah. It's tight on that one, though. Is Thiago a must for this week? Got free transfers at the moment, Haaland and Ekitike. I don't think he's a must. I don't think he's an absolute must buy. He is just a guy that will just keep ticking along and doing all right for the next, Brentford are a side that know how to win penalties. He creates decent underlying numbers as well. He's not a bad option. Punt on Pascal Gross. I think we've got plenty of players that do similar-ish jobs already. And Gross has only just come back to the Premier League. So I'd like to see him play a lot more minutes before, of course, I delve into him. But I think Welbeck missing that last penalty could mean then that potentially Pascal Gross is on penalties. So what we could end up with a situation is we're all rocking 2 cheap midfielders in Tavernier and Gross, who, of course, have set piece share. I imagine Pascal Gross ain't too bad at DEFCON either. So, yeah. Sell Minter to Enzo or bench him and play Anderson. I think you could probably just get away with maybe playing Anderson this week. I like the move to Enzo, though. I do like the move to Enzo. But maybe just holding that transfer could be worth doing it. We've got a round of FA Cup fixtures and Carabao Cup fixtures before we see the Premier League back in action. There could be some injuries. There could be situations to deal with. So maybe if, like I said, you can get away with it this week, the ideal thing to potentially do is maybe just bench them. Grealish is okay. I don't mind him as a short-term punt, but again, no set-piece share. Hits DEFCON a bit, but again, not really a goal threat either. He is purely just assists, isn't he? Best replacement for Minter at 5.9. I do believe it is probably going to be Tavernier. Yeah. Paqueta, Van der Ven, Stack, and Gahey. Are you asking me to bench one? Or are you asking me to pick one? Bench one, Wirtz or Enzo Lafie. I probably would bench Wirtz. Yeah, I probably would bench Wirtz. Is 4-5-1 a reliable formation? It's not a bad formation. You could just be left in a position, though, where if maybe, like I said, Thiago just keeps doing his thing and keeps delivering the goods, you might want to then go back to it. And I do think it's a nice structure, but it does limit you in some ways. Waltemada to DCL and Tavernier to Enzo. Need to make them for the funds. Waltemada and Tavernier to Enzo. I don't know why you would want to get rid of Tavernier. I personally would not be looking to get rid of Tavernier. I need to do Raya to Verbergen to free up Arsenal spot for Cunha to Rice. When should I do it? One free transfer. I probably would leave it this week. Like bringing Verbergen in against City just spells like a 1-pointer. Whereas Raya, should be a pretty steady, 37% probability of a clean sheet. Could get one. Could get one this week. I don't personally think Ekitike will start. I don't. It's quite a quick turnaround from games, but we've got Anderson. So I think my plan is to, see, not rush into any transfers. Because if I were to take him out this week, it would be for Mane. And I don't really want to play Mane, like, longer term anyway. So I might as well just leave Ekitike. We'll get some more information. The information is more valuable than wasting the transfer. Get the information. If he's like saying, yep, he'll be back for the Burnley game, then he's a keep for the Burnley game, isn't he? I think Burnley have conceded the most chances to strikers, most goal involvements to strikers. Let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure on that stat. Let's have a look. Who was I looking for? Burnley? Was it Burnley? And happiness. Let's have a look. Where are Burnley? Burnley. I'm just trying to keep my throat in order, by the way. We've got like another hour and a half to do, so I'm trying to make sure it makes it through it. Yeah, Burnley have conceded 0.76 goal involvements per match to a striker. Ranked third most vulnerable out of 20 teams. In terms of XG, they are also third for strikers as well with 0.62. So as you can see, Burnley are vulnerable from strikers. So taking out a striker that has Burnley coming up doesn't, like I said, seem like the most ideal move in the world to me. Yeah, just doesn't seem like the play or the one. Am I planning to sell Cunha and Dorgu after this game week? Cunha will be coming out next week for Rice. Yeah. Is it better to change Anderson to Enzo rather than Tavernier to Enzo? Chelsea look like they have good fixtures upcoming. Need to do Walter to DCL to fund it. Do you need to still have that striker spot? Could you not just do Walter down to like a Mane and then not worry about money? I think the Anderson one could be I think Tavernier could be a big hitting player. Like if he's got pen share, set piece share, playing very good minutes, for 5.6 million, that is a bargain. Yeah, that is really, really a bargain. Paqueta is apparently back in training, like he's been in some of the team pictures, but that's about all I've got for you. I wouldn't want to comment on if I think he's going to play, but what the information I have got for you is, yeah, that's it. That's all I've got for you. Oh, my head hurts today. What are your chances of Semenyo starting in Man City? I mean, it's Pep, isn't it? He's not just going to go straight into the team. He isn't going to go just straight drop into the team. That's him playing every single week. That's just not going to happen. Roof's worth it longer term. He's all right. Like, this is the thing with goalkeepers. You just select them and then just forget about them. Don't, genuinely, if they're not playing for just a side that are going to get battered every single week, you're fine. Like, they will just pick up random points all over the shop. For me personally, if you've got transfers this week, unless it's getting rid of Raya to unlock an Arsenal spot, to bring in a Gabriel, to bring in a Rice, I wouldn't even bother. I genuinely would not even bother wasting a transfer on that. There are so many things you're going to want transfers for in the next few weeks. Wasting it on a goalkeeper transfer is not the play. So, yeah. Bench one, Wilson or Alderente. Probably bench Alderente. I'll go Wilson on that one. Taking a hit, KDH and Ekitike out for Rice and a 6.5 million striker. I don't really rate that as a move, especially for a hit. I don't think it's going to be the one. Bowen or DCL on a wild card, neither. I think you go Thiago Haaland, that's the front two on a wild card, and I don't think you go anywhere else, really. I really don't. Yeah, I think you should be fine with that, Andy. I think you should be fine with that one. Of course, if you do want to get your team rated, we are now doing them over in the FPL cartel. Come and check it out. There is a link to our sub launch. Got a nice little community building over in there already. So, yeah, come over, come check it out. Like I said, team reviews going forward will just be in the Discord. All right. Is Clivert ready to play? He's having knee surgery. And not that meme of the Grinch either. He's actually having knee surgery. Do I think Ekitike will start? I do not. No, I personally don't think he'll start. I can't see it. Maybe he could prove me wrong. Maybe he starts, but I'm fully expecting to end up with Anderson back in the side for this week. I really am. I think there are probably better picks than Brooks. Like, I don't know what Brooks's numbers are for DEFCON and stuff like that. Let's have a look. My underrated team would be Brentford. They are my favourite team in the Premier League. I said at the start of the season they would be fine, and they are. They just know what they're doing every single week. Right, let's have a look at Brooks, see if he's an option. Already, I can see a big problem with David Brooks. Minutes are absolutely garbage all over the shop. Apart from this one game here where he hit 1.85 XGI, and that one's not too bad. Not really seeing anything else. DEFCON numbers, pants. There are plenty of better, cheaper midfield options than that. So many better, cheaper midfield options than that. Let's have a look what we can pick for you. Midfielders. Stack, like, literally plays 90, hits DEFCON, has set piece share. Much better pick. Enzo Lafie, penalty taker. Gets assists, plays 90 minutes. Does he hit DEFCON? Hitting DEFCON past few weeks once. Better pick. Yeah. I really, really don't think he makes it as a pick, to be honest, does Brooks. Even Scott here is seeing better minutes and hitting better returns. So, yeah, he's just not that guy for me. Not that guy. Sub, Ekitike, Alderente, bench one, probably Ekitike. Do you think longer term Enzo or Palmer? I'd like to see Palmer, but his minutes are still being a bit scattered at the moment, aren't they? They're still really being quite scattered all over the shop. So I would like to say Palmer just because of pen share, set piece share, and stuff like that. But Enzo's numbers have still looked very tidy. Like, there's nothing going against Enzo. Like, his numbers have been fine. They really have. I don't hate a 5-back. Do I reckon Paqueta starts tonight? He's back in training, but we'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't like to say yes and then he doesn't, but that's all I've got for you. He's been pictured in team training, so take of that what you will. Yeah. A happiness and a happiness. Keen to Thiago for a hit. Don't really like that as a move. Not for me personally. Nah, not for me. Not for me, I'm afraid. Harry Kane, yeah, what a great guy. We always get one of these. We always get every single stream. There's always just like someone that will just post like a random player. The first 14 days are completely free to come and test it out. So yeah, after that, it is £7.50 a month, but you get access to myself and Golden Goal throughout the week. You can ask us as many questions. You can get your team reviewed in the week. You can, of course, get your team reviewed on every single deadline stream. And the way we see it is if you want to get your team kind of reviewed by a top YouTuber, they're charging $7.50 just for a super chat, right? Realistically, to start reading them out. So we were like, yeah, that seems like a fair price for what you get with us. You get an exclusive podcast. You get exclusive access to us too, team reviews as well, plus lots of competitions. We've got a last man standing competition. We've also got what else have we got? We've got obviously our monthly prizes as well for winners and stuff. So yeah, big up. Long term, are you thinking about double Arsenal defense or attack? With Bruno Fernandes and Palmer coming back, it feels like double defense is the move. I'm actually looking at Saka and Rice. However, I am keeping myself open. I just think, Saka is still steadily just ticking along. But he's at a price point where if I do want to get Palmer in, he can just be one of the players that does, of course, make way. Or he can just be, like I said, we just downgrade him very easily. Like you can pretty much pick up any player you want in the game if you wanted to get rid of him. Whew. Bowen or Watkins? Neither. Like I do genuinely believe the two strikers are Haaland and Thiago. Start Roofs or Raya? I still probably would go with Raya. Like a 37% probability of a clean sheet for Arsenal this week. Great. Brentford have only lost one at home as well all season. So they're going to be a pretty mean beast to beat. And I swear Sunderland don't score a lot of goals away from home. So I imagine they'll just be sat behind the ball, defending for their lives. That's what I imagine anyway the game will look like. Who knows? I could be wrong on that one. What about Walter Modder? Not a pick. Again, getting benched the past 2 games. No pen share. Yeah. He ain't that guy. He ain't that guy. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Of course, team reviews, as always, on the channel for you guys to take a look at. We'll try and help as many of you out as we possibly can in today's stream. I probably would put Van der Bergen. Yeah, that's probably the one I would go for in that regard. He probably would be the one I would go for. Would you be starting Miley over Ekitike just in case Ekitike plays? Yeah, I probably would. I probably would start Miley ahead of Ekitike. Yeah, probably would go for that. Any thoughts on Palace assets? Not right now, but I think they could be back on the menu in a few weeks' time. The fixtures aren't terrible. Like, they're all greys, but they're really, really not terrible. This is why I've not sold Richards off longer term. Because once you get to about, the 24, Forest, Brighton, Burnley, Wolves. Like, that's a good, steady run. They've got Leeds coming up. Like, even some of these more like United away, Tottenham away. I don't fear these sides, so I'm pretty happy to keep Richards. Apparently, Munoz is back training as well, or is close to back being training as well. So, yeah, I probably would go for it. Emi Martinez could be a fine shout, a really, really fine shout. Yeah, I just think he's probably not getting the plaudits, is he really? For yeah, what could be a very fine just goalkeeper shout for the next few weeks. What are my thoughts on Bruno Guimaraes captain? Not for me personally. I think you're probably looking at Haaland, Cunha, and I genuinely think third could be Gabriel, like in terms of the popular assets. Don't mind Watkins as a shout for a captain's fee this week. I found a new quote from Slot on Ekitike. It just sounds to me like he's talking in riddles to not give Arsenal any info. I'll put it in the cartel. Thank you very much, Abby. Appreciated. Appreciated. Let's actually bring it up. Let's bring it up. Let's show you what the cartel looks like, because this is a prime example of what obviously goes off in here throughout the week. So we've got a team news section. As you can see, Abby has kindly put some team news in here. But yeah, pretty much we just have team news coming in here from very prestigious sources that, give us lots of information. So let's load this one up. See what we've got. So Arnie Slot on whether Hugo Ekitike will be fit to face Arsenal on Tuesday night. It's always going to be a thin line and a difficult balance. If a player is not available on Sunday, is he then available in 4 days? Sounds to me like he's probably not. Is the way I would read that. But yeah, again, another reason to potentially come over to the Cartel Discord. Thank you, Abby, for sending that in. Like I said, lots of great team news kicking off in there. You can get your team reviewed. We've got our exclusive podcast. We've got our last man standing competition. There is just so much going off in here as well. We've also got a bot that gives you updates. So stuff like this. This has obviously been added today. Lets you know what's going off. So new players are being added to the game. And obviously when goals start flying in and stuff like that, you can also come and check that out in here as well. So yeah, appreciate. Big up to Abby in the chat for sending that in. Thank you very much. Gehi, Sobo, Lewin, Ekitike start 1. Probably Sobo just for the pen share. Just for the pen share. Cool. Like I said, I'm just trying to save my voice. We have been streaming since about 1:30, and we're obviously streaming for another hour and a half and stuff. So I'm trying to obviously save my voice a little bit. Start Ekitike or Alderente? I would personally go for Alderente. Lewis Potter didn't start the last game, which would be a little bit of a concern. I think he might be back in for this one, though. Chalobah versus Tarkowski to buy. I think I'd probably say Chalobah. You could just set and forget. To be honest, both players are very easy set and forgets. I think I probably would lean a little bit more towards Tarkowski. Like, the new manager might not like Chalobah. He genuinely might just go, no, he's not my guy. That's the problem with these Chelsea assets, is buying them this week. It's a little bit hard to see who's going to be my guy, who's going to be the player to go for. So, yeah. Ekitike, O'Reilly out, Thiago Gabriel in for a -4. I don't hate that as a -4. I really, really don't. Would I do it? I think I would be a little bit tempted, yeah. Yeah, I probably would be a little bit tempted by that one. We just had the team sent in for review, so let's go and take a look at that over on the Discord. Like I said, guys, if you do want to get your team reviewed by me, come over to that one. Again, look, the FPL bot just doing its thing in our chat, letting us know all the injuries and stuff like that. So Richards now should be available. Sessignon now available. Doubtful Estev. Injured. All these players here. Klein back on the 17th. And Ketia, unknown return date. Tete. Yeah, this is what you can get in, obviously, the Discord. Gives you nice little updates on your teams and stuff like that. Would you do anything? One free transfer, 1.2 million in the bank. Let's have a cheeky gander. 1.2 million in the bank. Have you got your free Arsenal? You've got 2 Arsenal. Okay. 1.2 million in the bank. 1 free transfer. I think you could maybe get away with it this week. Next week, you'll have 2 free transfers. And I do think, Gvardiol will be a player you will want to move on. You could maybe look to go Gvardiol to potentially like a Malik Chow this week and play him ahead of Van der Berg. I don't hate that as a move. I really, really don't hate that as a move. Yeah, I think if that was a move I was going to make, that probably would be the one. Malik Chow in for Gvardiol. That's probably what I would do if I were to make any move this week. Other than that, I probably maybe would roll. Yeah. That's probably the moves that I would do this week. Thank you for sending your teams in, Janice. Really do appreciate that. Of course, get yourself into the FPL cartel if you do want your team reviewed by me. Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like you need to know what that team's going to look like. You need to know what the players are going to be doing. You need to see all that before I think making any kind of concrete decisions. I think Gabriel is essential. Yeah, like he's just unbelievable, isn't he? He's an absolute joke. So yeah, I do think he's an absolute lock for most teams. I'm not ignoring your question, mate. I just have the chat is just going pretty quick. I'm doing little bits off camera as well that I'm trying to, review people's teams and stuff like that. If you're going to be a dick, you can just leave. Like we're trying to answer as many questions as possible. So yeah, if you want to leave, leave. If not, I'll get around to answering people's questions. Simple as. The other Tom said go for Soberslide to Rice this week. Okay. I think for me, you should always prioritize getting rid of like guaranteed injured players that are removing the most budget. Me and Tom are going to have different opinions on things. Look, I don't hate the Sobo to Rice move. I don't. But Sobo's then got Burnley next week. Like, that's a fine fixture where I'd realistically want him. I think for me, I would personally want it. Like, Gvardiol is going to be out for an extended period of time. He's eating up a good chunk of your budget already. You either drop him down to a cheap defender to free up more funds, or, like I said, go for a Malik Chow. That's probably where my head would be at on that one. Senesi, a hold or sell? I probably would look to sell. Bournemouth just are conceding goals all over the shop at the moment. I personally probably would sell him to a Malik Chow, a Collins from Brentford, a Chalobah potentially from Chelsea. Those would be my top assets I would be looking to go for realistically. When am I planning on wildcarding? It could be in game week 24. It could be a little bit later. It could be maybe like next week if we get a load of injuries. This is the thing with the wildcard. I don't want to use it unless I'm absolutely forced to do it. Otherwise, I'll either use it to catch fixtures at 24 with a decent swing there, or I will look to potentially use it to dead end my team into like game week 31 and then, get out of that with a wild card into the doubles and stuff like that. So yeah, there we go. Do I think he starts? Probably. I still think he probably starts. Like, they've not got many, they've not got bodies at the club. I still think he starts. If he doesn't, he doesn't, and we deal with it. It's one of those. We get a Devaney 1-pointer rather than a Dorgu 1-pointer. Or a Richards 1-pointer, should I say. Like, it's just going to be one of those, isn't it? It's going to be one of those. I still think he starts. I really do think he starts still, for me personally. I don't think, for me, the interim, rocks the boat too much. Rice Essential or Saka? I probably would lean more towards Rice than Saka. More double-digit hauls for Rice this season. DEFCON, pulling points out of every single direction. That is just the way it goes, realistically. So, yeah. He probably would be the one that I would want more than Saka. O'Brien, Robinson, VVD, Alderente, start 2. Probably go O'Brien and... I probably would go Van de Ven. Spurs are quite good away from home. They are quite good away from home. Second in the league for away form. So, yeah, I probably would do that. All right, mate. Would you bench Ekitike if you had double Arsenal defence? I probably would, yeah. Arsenal still have a 37% chance of a clean sheet. Said this earlier in the stream. If that had, a different badge on it, if it was a Fulham badge and it said 37% chance of an Arsenal clean sheet, we'd all just go, yeah, no problems. I think if he's benched again, then yes, he probably is a sell. Yeah. I have no information on Ekitike. Absolutely nothing on Ekitike. The only other player that comes in for me, like I said, look at the bench. There isn't much high caliber quality, so I might as well risk it for a biscuit. If we get an Ekitike start, we get an Ekitike start. Coyote for Dorgu. Not really. I think there's better, cheaper defenders to go for. The Sunderland pair rotate really nicely with Newcastle. A lot of their percentage of goals as well are coming from set plays so far this season. You're also getting a decent shot volume from set plays, and you're also getting in, guys that can hit defensive contributions. What do you think about the Kelleher and Petrovic rotation? If they rotate nicely, then go for it. I haven't looked personally at the Brentford and Bournemouth, but if you've looked at it, gone through, seen where the good fixtures lie, then I don't hate that. Am I doing team reviews? Yes, team reviews are over in the Discord now if you want to come and check that out for yourself. Link in the description, and I've just whacked it in the chat for you guys. It's also the pinned comment as well. So, yeah, plenty of ways to access the Discord as always. Got a nice little community over there. So, yeah, all good stuff. Settle down. I don't have a full idea of the most optimal players during the fixture run, just because we need to see what the new manager does. He might be like, I don't like this player. I don't like, Chalobah, for example, who's been playing consistent 90s. He might just go all of a sudden, yeah, I'm not too bothered about it. So, yeah. I won't deep it. Nah, bro, you good. Billy, trust the process, mate. The mega hauls will keep on coming. We are back. Back it, Billy. Top 10K this week, mate. Top 10K. I'm feeling it. Be bullish, Billy. Oh, Mukalele or Cash? Be tempted to go Cash this week. First come, first serve basis on team reviews. They can be free, but a limited amount of reviews. We've moved them over to the Discord just because that's something that me and Tom are trying to build. And ultimately, I wouldn't want to, do first come, first served. I think, people obviously are going about their days, doing different things with their days. I don't think that's really a fair way to reward people just because they're here early. Some people might have, work, school, whatever. I don't think that's a fair way to do it. So, the Discord is what me and Tom believe is probably the best way of us to approaching it. We were missing people's teams. I can give more in-depth reviews and stuff like that. So that's the way that we're going with it. No, I rate the double Arsenal defense. Like, they're the top for the best projections over the next few weeks. So I think double Arsenal defense isn't going to steer you wrong once you get past this Liverpool fixture. Even with this Liverpool fixture, still a 37% probability of a clean sheet. They're good numbers. They are good numbers. You can't complain at that too much. I will get top 5K then this game week. I trust Tom. Thanks, mate. Let's keep smashing it, man. Tom, I'm in the top 2,000. Any tips? Bro, I should be taking tips off you, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Like, obviously, whatever you've been doing has worked. Still, I would say stick to the basic principles. The bread and butters of this game are look for players, especially when you bring them in. Do they have set piece share? Do they have penalty share? What are their minutes like? Are they, playing for a decent side? Are their underlying numbers looking pretty decent? Have they got good fixtures coming up? I think as long as you're picking players with those criteria and those factors going forward, you will be fine. Don't overthink transfers. Trust your gut. Captaincy as well might potentially be worth just sticking with the kind of, safer EO picks around that point at Haaland. Or you could really push the max, potentially take some gambles. But I think, you know what you're doing. You've got yourself into that position. Keep on doing what you're doing. I think the major thing for you will be keeping track of what blanks and what doubles are coming up, and obviously having a defined chip strategy or a loose kind of guide, because you should always be flexible with this game because things can change very fast and rapid, but have a fairly rigid, I would say, idea of when you're going to play chips to give yourself the best opportunity to make the best moves with, of course, those chips in mind. So yeah, there you go. Gavin, one of our channel members, has just said, looking for a Minter replacement, please. Thoughts on Garner or Reinders? I personally won't go for Reinders. My top replacements are Garner, Stack, Xhaka. Other than that, you probably are looking at, what's the guy's name? Tavernier. When Semenyo goes locked on penalties, Kluivert is out as well, so that increases his penalty share. Set plays, all that good stuff. He will be the one to go for. So yeah, there you go. The thing is, best forward, like they've all got problems. I genuinely think the two structure is going to be the way to go going forward. So yeah, do you really need one? I think maybe stacking out that midfield could be a potential better option to go for as well. Wow, that's an interesting stat. I'll have to look if that's actually true, but yeah. What about Aronson? I spoke to a Leeds fan about him today, and I basically shot him down. Minutes just aren't there, not hitting DEFCON, no set piece share. So I don't know why you'd go for it. There is the link to the Discord, my friend, if you want to obviously sign up for it. Like I said, completely free for 14 days, so come and check it out. Of course, we're doing team reviews right now for it as well. Another question, how can I progress in rank? Is it buying players who have less ownership in near ranking, or is it buying players with the best good fixtures, and be smart with buying low-owned players? This is the thing, right? And this is one of the big things I learned last season, and I think one of the main reasons it helped me achieve a top 10K. Don't just look for differentials in individuality. Look for differentials in terms of combinations, right? So I was at a period where I had a midfield of Saka, Rice, Bruno at one point in the game a few weeks ago. And it was a very low-owned percentage of the game had that. It was like 1% of the game had it. However, they were all fairly popular picks, all around the 20% mark. But in combination, that made them different. So I think that is the thing to look for. Don't just be picking players for the sake of them because they're a differential. Look for those differences in combinations, right? So everyone in the game will probably have a front two of Haaland and Thiago going further forward. Now, your differential in combination might be maybe adding that third striker. It could then be a different player in midfield. It could be a midfield of Saka, Palmer, Rice, Bruno. That could be your 1%. That is how I would look at the game a little bit more as well. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight to the way that I think and play the game. I don't just buy people for the sake of being different. I look at the fixtures, look at the form, look at what obviously, sides concede against, look at the predicted points as well. Like, these tools are useful. They're not the be all and end all, but they help give you a good idea. And when you understand what goes into those things to make certain players look good, then that does unlock a lot of opportunities. There you go. Another player I have just thought about for people's Minter replacements is also Tielemans. Has hit DEFCON in the past few games, has open play threat, has some set piece share, I believe, still, and is the penalty taker. Not bad. I'm not bringing any Chelsea players in this week or next week. It will be game week 23 will probably be the earliest point. Yeah, 100% agree with Jamie as well. Like, we both have different routes to play the game, and certain ways work. There'll be some managers who are solely basing their team off what FPL review says. That might get them a top 10k finish. There will be other managers like myself that does a little bit of both, looks at players, looks at what FPL review is saying, and then there'll be Jamie who goes off what he believes is the best options for him every single week. There is a million ways to play it, and if you're already in a good position, I think your intuition and the players that you are picking is working. Right, I got off on a little bit of a tangent, but we've had some teams sent in, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of these then. So what we got? Is it going to reload? Or am I going to have to go into it? I thought we had some. It says we've got some. Give Discord a cheeky little reload. Apparently we don't. Apparently we don't. Apparently we don't. All right. We'll get rid of it. There we go. Thought we had some. Yeah, agree, Billy. I do agree. No worries, man. Hopefully that has all helped you out and put you in a decent place for the upcoming season. Best of luck, man. Best of luck. Hopefully see you in the stream, continuing to smash this game. My Cunha replacement is probably going to be Declan Rice. Oh, my eye. I've got a little bit of a headache today. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit of a headache. But other than that, we're good. Free hit in a blank or double game week. Depends what teams we get blanking. If it's like Arsenal, City, blanking and Dublin and stuff like that, then yeah, we might have to look at it. I've just seen we've had some teams now sent into the Discord, so we'll go ahead and take a look at those in a sweet second. Thank you for everybody, like I said, that has obviously sent their teams in for this week. Yeah, we'll take a look at some of those in a second. Probably would be leaning more towards O'Reilly, to be honest. Yeah, I think obviously Richards being back in the squad probably means he'll be starting games fairly soon as well. So yeah, I think that'll be fine. Right, let's head over to the Discord then and take a look at some teams that we have had sent in. So thank you everybody for sending your teams in. Really do appreciate it as always. If you want to get your team rated by me, this is the place to go and do it. We have got lots of cartel members in here now. This is great stuff. So thank you very much, everybody. If you haven't already, come and check it out for yourself. It is the pinned comment in the chat. Raul9 says benching decisions. Start Rodgers or one of the other defenders. Oh, mate. That is a toughie. That is a very good bench. That is a very good bench. I think with City having both centre-backs out, though, it could mean that they could concede. Fulham away, not an easy place. I think, Fulham, they've been, proven themselves against some big boys in recent weeks. Liverpool, City, they gave a good rumble as well. Like, they'll make it a difficult game. I think I probably would still go with that, but it would not shock me if you do end up with, Rodgers blanking and some points on the bench. Or it could very easily go the other way, like, some sloppy goals conceded and then Rodgers absolutely smashes it. But I think I probably still would go with what you've got. But it is a difficult one, mate. But I think, that's probably the move I would go for on that one. Jamal says 0.4 in the bank with one transfer used from Timber to Gabriel. What would you do? What would I do? Done Timber to Gabriel. What else would I do? Personally, I don't think I would make any further moves. I genuinely think the team is fine. If Ekitike doesn't play, Anderson comes in. That is fine. I probably would roll the other transfers that you've got there, to be honest, mate. That is probably all I would do with that one. Abby says, roll into 2 free transfers. I'd like to do Saka and Cunha to Palmer and Rice in game week 22, but open to other options if there are any injuries to deal with. Yeah, I think if you can this week, guys, try and roll as many potential transfers through, just purely because we couldn't be in a position where you get, your FA Cup. You've also got the Carabao Cup first leg semis as well. There could be some big injuries that happen over the next, 10 days, is it, till the next deadline? It's just could be a big mess. Let's take a look at Abby's team then. It's a very good team for me, Abby, this week. I mean, the bench cover is a little bit thin, but I think Krupi or Devaney should be able to cover for Ekitike if it all goes wrong. But other than that, I think, like you said, you're in a decent place. You've got the 2 free transfers next week to get rid of Cunha, to get rid of Virgil and bring in the players that you want to bring in. So for me personally, I rate the moves. I rate it. I back it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Like I said, guys, if you do, of course, want to get yourself into the FPL Cartel Discord, that is where we are doing team reviews from now on. So let me quickly just post a link in. There you go. So that is the place to come and get your team reviewed by me. Pretty much nearly gone through all that water. That's full big cup, that. Full big glugger. Is Bruno playing? We will have to wait for the press conference at 5:30 or 5, I believe it is, to find out information from what we get from Darren Fletcher on that one. Is it Darren Fletcher? Am I right in that? Yeah, I think I'm right in that. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Anything you want to ask me ahead of the deadline, we are here for it. We're here to review your teams this week as well over in the Discord. And of course, we will, we'll go from there. There is no Dorgu in the expected lineups. Depends where you're looking. I think Charlie had him in his expected lineups, but we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, if it is, then we just get a Richards 1-pointer or a Devaney 1-pointer, whatever. We'll deal with that situation when we get round to it. I mean, Fotmob has Lenny Yoro up front. I don't think Fotmob is correct at all. If that is the one we're going to go with. FPL Meerkat. What we got? Just having a look at Charlie's tweets. Manchester United, Dorgu straight back in. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Bench Mane or Dorgu? I'd still play Dorgu. Like, if Dorgu plays right winger again, I still would play him. So I'd still bench Mane. Yeah. I'd still, like, he literally could have scored the past few games. Like, he very easily could get himself a mega haul again. Yeah, I'm still going to hold on to him. Like, he's in Charlie's predicted. I don't think anybody has a concrete idea of what Fletcher is honestly going to do. So trying to predict that, yeah, God knows. Who do you think are the best players to choose from Chelsea? We're going to have to wait and see how the new manager lines up. But heading in before that, it probably is Enzo, Palmer, Chalobah, realistically. They're the ones. Is Bowen expected to score? What do you mean, is Bowen expected to score? Like, anybody could score. Again, we're going to have to wait for the Manchester United press conference before we get any information regarding, Bruno, Dorgu, Cunha, all of these players. Is Ekitike playing? We won't find out till after the deadline. Sofa score. This is the thing. I would envy trying to pick those predicted lineups. I really would. Because they could do absolutely anything in it. Like, they really, really could. We'll have to wait and see what the thingy says. Ekitike, it was a DOM, so like just delayed onside muscle something. I can't remember what it is. But basically it's just like, when you go to the gym and you're a bit achy the day after, sort of that. They did some scans and they did find something that was a little bit more concerning, hence why he missed the game. And Slot is now giving like weird quotes, probably just to throw off Arteta. We're not going to have anything definitive before the deadline. I doubt it anyway, unless something gets leaked. But yeah, at the moment, we've got nothing definitive. We won't find out till after the deadline when we get the Liverpool press conference. So yeah, that's the position we're in. Do I think Walter starts this game week? Very easily, they could just go with Visser again. I think probably just given the quick turnaround, they might give Walter this game and potentially the FA Cup game. Who knows? So, yeah. Yeah, Elliot Anderson is just a steady Eddie. Like, that's all. That is all he does. He just hits DEFCON. That's it. Don't be expecting anything else. Like, he's got some set piece share, but I mean, if you've got one of those players just ticking along every single week as a bench option, like, I would love to have Anderson right now available for my team for selection. Just plays 90, hits DEFCON. Yeah, it would be great. Tav or Ekitike, probably would go Tav. Would you use your wild card this week or save it till the next deadline? I probably would save it. Like I said, there's 2 weeks of information we're going to get. Like, we could get mass injuries in the FA Cup. We could get mass injuries in the League Cup. Could completely change the landscape. Chelsea manager might do something crazy. There's a lot going off that I personally would not use the wild card this week unless my team disastrously needed it. Yeah, it depends who's back, really, doesn't it? It depends who's back. Like, if certain people are back from injury, then maybe, yeah, that does mean Dorgu. But I'm personally not going to change anything. Like I said, I don't think Ekitike plays, so we'll have Anderson. If not, then we will just get a Devaney 1-pointer or 2-pointer. Interestingly, if Mateta's not on the pitch, he did take the last penalty, so we might get lucky and fluky and get a bit of Devaney jam. There you go. I personally wouldn't look at Johnson. I think there's just so many better midfield options within the game right now that Johnson, unless he's playing 90 and absolutely smashing it, wouldn't even be an option. Nope, Dorgu isn't. He's not out for 5 yellows. Otherwise, he would be like red in this game. He would be suspended. Is there a chance Keane might not start? We've seen tight turnarounds before be a problem for Michael Keane. We have seen that before. And it could very well be the issue yet again. The only thing I would say is Moyes didn't give us any heads up that was going to be the case in his press conference. He just said he came unscathed from game week 20. Apparently he's fine, so should be good. But again, we've seen another random midweek missing out for Michael Keane before. Maybe we might get it again. Who knows? Who knows? If you're enjoying the stream, guys, make sure you're hitting like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Where are we at in terms of subscribers? So I don't think we're going to hit it today. We need like a miraculous last hour. But we are 140 people off 25K, which is just ridiculous. Like, that was my end of season goal. And we're going to hit it probably this week. I reckon probably this week we will hit 25K, which is a bit mad. Just a little bit mad. Like I said, the channel growth is just bonkers at the moment. So I do appreciate everybody for, liking the content, subscribing, all that good stuff. You are just the best, honestly. Watkins or Thiago? I prefer Thiago. Watkins' minutes are just all over the shop. Do I change Ekitike for Watkins? Not for me, unless you've got, no bench cover. That's the only reason I would do it. Yeah. Any questions you've got, guys, do get them in. We'll try and answer as many as we possibly can before, obviously, we do finish up today's stream. We won't be finishing until about 4:30 anyway, and then we'll let the big boys go and do their thing. Just pop into Golden stream, see what he's up to. Let's have a look. He's got Rice in for this week. I rate that. Team looks pretty steady, to be fair to him. Yeah, team looks pretty steady. I'm a bit jealous of what Tom's team looks like a little bit. Our team is looking a bit on the ropes at the moment, but hey ho, maybe if Thiago can do the business again, we could be in a world of wonder. Dorgu or Dalot, I personally wouldn't be looking to buy any United players right now. Yeah, they've gone past their best fixtures. They've got City and Arsenal after this Burnley game. They're just not buys. They're just genuinely not buys right now. Like, after this Burnley game, I will be selling off Cunha, and I probably will get rid of Dorgu over the next few weeks. That is where my kind of head is at in terms of transfers, going further forward and stuff. Have enough for him plus a 3.8 million. I mean, fair play for going without Haaland, but I would personally not do that this season. I wouldn't have gone without Haaland. That would have scared me. That would have scared me. Oh, already have both. Probably then, if the rumours are true about Dorgu, then I probably would lean more towards playing Dalot this week. Or Delo or whatever. What's your thoughts on keeping hold of Semenyo? I personally would just not. Like, he's going to lose most of his appeal for me when he goes to City. Unless he's playing regular minutes, which I don't think he will do from the start. Don't see it happening. Start Elliot Anderson or Dalot. I'm thinking United Dalot. I personally go for Dalot. Hi, Tom. Semenyo to Rice. Already got Saka or 2 transfers. Saka to Rice enables Esteve to Gabriel. I like the second option you've gone for there. I do like the second option. I also don't hate the double midfield stack of Rice and Saka, but I do think Gabriel is probably going to be the big one that, a lot of people will be looking to have. What's his ownership at right now? Like, where's he at in terms of his ownership? Already up to 28%, so his effective ownership is going to be ridiculous. So yeah, he's going to be a scary one. He is genuinely going to be a scary one over the next few weeks. Doodaloo, 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 doodaloo. We are close to 150 likes on today's stream, by the way, guys. So if you're enjoying it, make sure you're hitting that like button. Do you think 4-5-1 will be the best formation for the next few game weeks? I don't. I think 4-4-2 probably still has more structure, or a 4-5-1 with a kind of floating forward maybe might be the play. But yeah, I think Thiago is just fine. Like Haaland and Thiago are probably going to be the front two that most people end up with. And just go with that. I didn't watch the Palace game, but I'd need to see more from him before even considering it, to be honest. Yeah, I'd need to see a hell of a lot more before even considering it. We have just hit 150 likes. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. You are honestly just, yeah, you're great. You are great. Obviously, we're closing down on that goal of 25,000 subscribers. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a when, not if, isn't it, right now? Oh, my head is absolutely battering today. Head is battering. Best Ruben replacement, need to sacrifice a third striker to free transfers. If you've not got Gabriel, probably Gabriel, Malik Chow, Collins, Chalobah. They're probably the ones I would be looking at. Van Heck or Anderson to start? Anderson for me. Yeah, Anderson would be the one. He would be the one that I would go for. Hey, Tom, should I play Welbeck? He came off the bench last game. I mean, against City, I'd want somebody else. Surely you've got someone else kicking around. Start Henderson or Dubravka? Probably Henderson. I will lend you a free transfer if we hit 25k. I haven't got any transfers spare, bro. Probably the Wilson 4-4-2 would probably be the one, but it's hard to know without seeing the rest of your side, to be honest, mate. Gahey to Chow or Tarkowski or roll and play Anderson, but have Ekitike and not a great bench. I personally would just do the roll. I think having that 2 transfers next week will be more valuable to you. Are you thinking to sell Cunha after this game week? Who's you replacing with? Yes, he is going to be coming out for Rice for me. Lewis Potter or Dorgu? I'd probably play the fixture and go with the Dorgu one. I don't think that is worth the -4 in my personal opinion, no. Hi, Tom. Would you start between Anderson and DCL? I'd go Anderson. I'm not making any moves. Mane's fine for 4.5. I won't be relying on him every single week. Like, he's just good to have as like a third sub, and if you really need him, he can be there. Mateta or Igor Jesus? Neither. Start Henderson or Dubravka? Henderson. Hey, Tom, what do you think about Raul as a second striker option? Not bad. Like, on penalties, his minutes are all right. Cheap price. Fine, yeah. Sell Raya or roll. Already have Chalobah, Gabriel. I mean, if you've already got Gabriel, I don't really see the point in getting rid of Raya, so I probably would keep. Start Ekitike or Miley. I go with Ekitike still. You're not doing Cunha to Bruno. I am not. Bruno will probably come in 24 once they've got City and Arsenal out the way. That's where he'll come in for me. Yeah, there we go. Ah, a little bit tired. Didn't have a great sleep last night. Yeah. Little bit tired today, let me tell you. Which one to start? Alderente, VDV, or Stack? VDV for me, please. Yeah, VDV for me, please. He would be the one that I would go for. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Anything you do, of course, want to know, let us know in the chat. And we'll try and pick it up for you guys as best as we can. Obviously, we'll be live till about 4:30. Then we'll let the big boys go and do their things. The Raptors, the Focals, the Harrys. We'll let them all go and smash it out the park. Why not Thiago captain? Haaland has never blanked against Brighton. Best projected goals this week. Best predicted points. Yeah, I'm just going with that. I really should have got more water, but I don't know where I would have got it from. What's the weather saying? That could also be a factor, by the way. If you're not from the UK, it is Baltic at the moment. Very, very cold in the UK. Potential chance of snow tonight for me in Leeds. So yeah, we might maybe see some fixtures go potentially. I'm not ruling it out. So that could also be a thing that might potentially happen this week. Virgil or Soberslai, I'd probably pick the penalty taker and go Soberslai. Stock, Ekitike, Virgil, or Anderson. I'd start Ek and have Anderson ready to come in. Who would you start between Dorgu and Wilson? Probably still would go Jeremy Dorgu and just have Wilson ready on the bench if he doesn't play. I'm benching Gahey this week in favour of Lewis Potter. Fair. I mean, Lewis Potter didn't start the last game, but that would be my only concern on that one. Play free, Cash, Van de Ven, Dorgu, Anderson, James. I think you have to still play Dorgu just given the fixture. We don't know what the lineup's going to look like. Trying to predict the lineup for a manager that we don't know what he's going to do is hard. So I still would go Dorgu, Cash, and probably... I'd probably go James, you know. Cash, James, and Dorgu probably would be the ones. Van de Ven's first sub for me. Looking back on where... Is it worth putting the vice captain on Anderson in case matches get cancelled tomorrow? Then I have a guaranteed captain. Not the worst shout in the world. Genuinely not the worst shout in the world, Abby. I think you could be onto something there. I think you could be onto something there. Why not? Why not? It realistically, it could end in tears, but at the same time, it could work an absolute masterstroke for you. So I don't hate it. Any tips on what to do with Walter Marder? I personally would get rid. Yeah, we've seen his minutes are just not secure. Get rid. No penalty share either. Yeah, it's an easy sell. It's an easy sell. What do I think about captaining Foden, Cherky over Haaland, Cunha also an option? I don't mind the other options. Like Burnley have had 9 in the last 9 fixtures. A player has hit a double-digit haul against Burnley in every single one, so I don't hate it. Foden and Cherky, you know, they've been pretty hit and miss in the past few weeks. Haaland, 4 blanks in a row. I do think he will get an attacking return this week. All of them could be like. I'm not saying it's like a guaranteed risk, but you never know. You never know with the UK, and it's not the pitch itself that would be the problem. It is the surrounding areas that are usually the reason, and like games at the Premier League level get called off. So there was a Liverpool one last season or 2 seasons ago where it was like, the game was called off because of wind and rain, and it was fell on a power line and stopped like a tram going. And as soon as they see that, that is the point where they'll go, game's off. But I don't personally see anything getting cancelled. I'm just putting it out there as maybe to be a little bit cautious this week. Yeah, it could. I would be maybe tempted to do it, Abby, and like you said, at least then it's done, isn't it? Like you've not got to worry like, oh, my Vice is playing in the Northwest, game gets called off. Whatever, yeah. I think it could be a smart move. Why is Mint a 25% chance of playing on the FPL app? Apparently, there is a small chance that he might play. That is about it. And that's probably why they've given him a 25% chance. Yeah, Jamie's got the right point. It is the safety for fans. So nothing usually to do with the pitch, especially at Premier League level. It is more around the weather. So I mean, there's not much really we can do. It's just, make sure you've got like your vice potentially set this week. Maybe make sure you've got, a decent one in place. Because you never know what could happen. There could just be tomorrow, load of snow in Manchester, something around the City game, whatever. The Metrolink trams don't work. That is a big thing that, of course, takes fans to the games. If you've ever been to Manchester, you know that is the heart of that. If that then is blocked or broken or whatever, they might go, that's enough for us to call that game. Euro without Haaland. You would then want a decent alternative captaincy option to go for. So, yeah. Cool. Let's have a look then. We've had a team sent in on the Discord, so let's take a look at that for review. Here it is. Would you roll this? Tempted to get Chow or Bruno? I personally would roll that. I personally genuinely would roll that. Yeah, I genuinely would roll that. I don't really see any need to make any drastic transfers. So yeah, probably just roll that, to be honest, mate. I think that's a very easy roll. Yeah, if we see trains tomorrow start to get cancelled, then that is the period where I would go, games are getting cancelled. I remember sat on this stream maybe last season or the season before, the game where the Liverpool game got called off because of the weather. I found a tweet that said, like, it was from the Merseyrail, that they stopped a train going somewhere because a tree fell on the line. As soon as I saw that, I was like, they're going to call the whole thing off. Because if a tree falls on a major line that is connecting, of course, people going to the game and whatever, that's dangerous. And it was. Simple as that. So if probably worth having a little bit of a scout tomorrow, or today potentially, looking if there are any trains that are getting cancelled and stuff like that. But yeah. Other than that, make sure you've got a decent vice in place. I personally go for Sobo. Hope weather holds up here. Hi from Norway. Bro, the Norwegians have got it right. I bet you don't get any games cancelled. Free hit for this game week? No, save it for a blank or a double. Start Ekitike over Timber. Have Gabriel for Arsenal defensive coverer. Yeah, makes sense. I personally probably would still start Timber ahead of Ekitike, but yeah. Each to their own, I guess. Each to their own. Do keep the questions coming in, guys. Anything you want to know, do let me know. And yeah, we'll try and help as many of you out as we possibly can leading up to the deadline. Yeah, just windy. Yep. Oh, wow. All games would be cancelled. That would be mad for fantasy, that would be mad for fantasy. I've always wanted to go to Norway, but the problem with the UK and flying to Norway is the airport is a pain in the arse. Like, if you want to get a cheap flight from the north of England to Norway, you fly to, I think it's called, Oslo Torp, which is nowhere near Oslo, by the way. It's like an hour and a half away from Oslo. What's the point? I don't want that. I want at max maybe 50 minutes. I'll give you an hour if it's like a decent city or if the flights are really cheap. But an hour and a half, ferrying about, you're just like, can't be bothered. I think the longest one I've done is from Brussels, Charleroi, or whatever it's called, to Brussels city centre. That was a bus that was disgusting. So, yeah. Not great. Also, wouldn't recommend going to Belgium. It's a shithole. Sorry if any Belgian people are in the chat. It is a dump. From London, you could get to Oslo for €80. The problem is then getting from London from the north of England. Yeah. Torp is not that bad. How long does it take? Because when I looked, it looked like a pain in the arse. But, I mean, you probably know it better than me, man. Any moves? Nah, I'm just going to roll. Obviously, I'll wait to see what the United thing says a little bit later. But, Yeah, it'll probably just be a roll from me, mate. It'll probably just be a roll. Looks like Sam has sent his team in for review, so let's have a cheeky little gander. Captaincy outside the top 6. Watkins potentially 7 attacking returns in the past 5 games. Palace have only won 2 home games this season. So yeah, 2.4 million in the bank, 2 free transfers, planning to roll, and the following transfers: Van der Berg to Chalobah, Cunha to Palmer, Thiago to Barnes. What do you think? I will end up with 1.8 million in the bank. Bit scared with the new Chelsea manager. Rank 15k. Is that in game week? Planning to roll and do the following transfers next week. I don't think you drastically need to make those moves. I still think the right players roll, and then maybe let's see. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. I probably would go with that. Yeah, I probably would go with that. I just roll. Let's see where we end up. Let's see how Chelsea look under the new management and stuff. You'll get the FA Cup game as well. You'll get the League Cup game as well to really see what the assets are like and who potentially could be a decent option. So we'll have plenty of scope to, of course, look at it before going with it. So yeah, I rate the roll. Decent little move. If you want to send team reviews, we now do them over in the Discord server. If you want to come and join us, that is the link for that. It's ridiculous how expensive it is to go from the north of London. Yeah, literally to go from the north to the south in England, or just to go to London. Obscene, genuinely obscene amounts of money. So yeah, ridiculous. Hi Tom, is a 20-minute drive from Oslo airport to Oslo. I'm not talking about Oslo. I'm talking about the cheap airline that you can get from the north of England. So Oslo Torp, I think it's called. Oslo Torp Airport, right? So Oslo, Norway is an hour and a half drive. It's an hour and a half drive from Oslo Torp Airport, which in the UK, there is like Ryanair who do all the cheap flights and stuff. They're the go-to people that most people book trips from. And they're pretty much the people that fly out of most of the north of England to get to Norway. An hour and a half drive is how close that airport is, which is ridiculous. The flight probably isn't even an hour and a half, is it? What players do I want longer term from Chelsea? I want Enzo, I want Palmer, and I probably maybe want Chalobah. Outside of that, nobody really, unless, of course, we do want some other options. My arse has just started twitching. That's not good. And we've got 30 minutes left. So I'm hoping it is just a cheeky little fart we're about to do. And that'll be that. If the camera goes black, it wasn't a fart. It wasn't safe. We're in trouble. If it's a fart and it leads to worse, I might be running to the toilet. Yes, Torp Airport is crap. Yep, that is the one where unfortunately most of the flights from the UK do go to. I don't mind that move. Yeah, I probably still would go with it, I think. Would you go a week early Raya to Sanchez to beat a price drop? Probably. Yeah, probably. Sorry, Mills. Well, no, because you'll rise up a centimeter or so. I'm still waiting for this fart to come. Like it's right on the precipice. Is that the right word? That's a big word for me. But yeah, it's right there. So we might go for it. Should I sell O'Reilly to Chow? I've got Mukulele, Gabriel, Anderson, Tarkowski. Thinking City defense is going to be bad from now on. Yeah, losing both centre-backs is going to be big. I don't think there's necessarily the desire to do it maybe this week. Maybe holding and rolling the transfer might be the play, to be honest. Like, I could see City still keeping a clean sheet, to be honest. But I think longer term, we will start to move away from City assets. But yeah. I'm expecting probably Ekitike not to play. Is the ultimate thing, to be honest. Yeah. And I don't really care about my players playing against each other. I don't. Yeah. I'm just one of those people that it just doesn't bother. I also don't like goalkeeper rotations. I don't see the benefit of it. I personally believe just sticking and just staying with one goalkeeper is probably the more optimal route. Sunderland and Newcastle don't have a bad rotation if you're looking for one. I think somebody said earlier in the chat, Bournemouth and Brentford have one if you really want to go for one. But yeah, for me personally, I probably wouldn't go for it. Am I selling Ekitike? Nope. He is just going to stay in here for one more week. We'll get the, get the Burnley fixture, hopefully, from him. Hi, Tom. Who should I start? Van der Berg or Wirtz? I mean, with Van der Berg being benched the last two games, I'd be more tempted to play Wirtz. Yeah. He probably would be the one I would go for. Minding my goddamn business. Oh, Lord. Will Semenyo start? Yes, apparently it's his last game, so I reckon he'll start. I reckon he'll start this one. Minding my goddamn business. Who's a better Minter replacement between Bruno Guimaraes or Rodgers? Probably Bruno Guimaraes for me. Rodgers' data is just poo. It is poo. I shouldn't say poo when I need a poo. Oh, there you go then. Sunderland and Burnley apparently rotate quite nicely as well. Another potential rotation there for you. Who'd start, Paqueta or Saka? Probably would go Saka. Liverpool, yeah, always go Saka. Yeah, what am I on about? Go Saka. Liverpool have actually conceded their most goal involvements from right wingers. Second most XG so far this season from right wingers as well. Saka, I think, could have a very good game. Yeah. Is it time to part ways with Foden? While he keeps playing 90 minutes and we've got other issues to deal with, he will remain within my side. But I think I'll give him probably till after the Wolves game, and then that'll probably be the period where we offload him. So after game week 23, I could switch him to Bruno Fernandes, and he has then Tottenham and Liverpool. So that'll probably be the period where I do it, if I'm going to do it. Would you start Dorgu or Wilson? I still probably would go with Dorgu. Would you do Rice for Rodgers? Definitely not. Definitely not. Rice is quality. Come on, you Irons. Scunthorpe, I'm going to go. Minter, keep or sell? Probably a sell. There's quite a few good irons, to be honest. Irons, there's quite a few good options. The guy putting irons completely threw me in the chat. Should I go Rice or Bruno G? Rice. Both are great options, but Rice is probably the better one. Best mid, 6.8 million or under. Needs to be a 1 week punt, or do I risk Paqueta? I just risk Paqueta. I genuinely would just wheel Paqueta out. If you've got bench covered, you'll be fine. He was pictured in training today. That's about all I've got for you guys, unfortunately. Nothing else more exciting than that. Yeah, just that. Timed out for just being a West Ham fan. Who would buy Semenyo next week? I've already got Rice and Wilson. You've got Enzo, who could potentially be an option from Chelsea. You've got Tavernier, who we've spoke about quite a bit in the stream. You could just drop him down to a really cheap midfielder as well. Yeah, there's quite a few options that open the door. Shall I take a cost of -4 to get rid of Verge? I probably would only get rid of Verge for Gabriel for a -4. Everybody else, don't think I would do it. He's a regular starter. However, the minutes have been a little bit dicey, to be honest. Yeah, Tavernier could be a great option. 5.6 pens, corners. Give me that. Hi, will Keane play? Apparently he is unscathed from game week 20. That's all we've got from David Moyes. I have nothing further to kind of add on that. So yeah, that's about it. Looking at the poll in the chat, where are people at with captaincy for this week? Haaland is absolutely smashing it. This could be a week where he's very close to 200%, very similar to last week. So yeah, could be a dicey week. I would probably start Chow this week ahead of Chalobah for me. Yeah, that's probably the way I would go on that one. I have no idea if Watermarder will start the next 3, to be honest. They've got lots of games kind of floating in around that. FA Cup, Carabao, Champions League. I genuinely would not like to be to predict it. He was spamming Irons, and I didn't even clock on that was West Ham. That's poor from me. I thought it was Scunthorpe, who also, I think, called themselves the Irons. So we'll let myself off. Even though I think they're steel, but we'll be fine. I don't think I would get rid of Reece James. Like, unless it's for Gabriel, I don't think I would get rid of Reece James. Shall I sell Ekitike in game week 23 to free up funds for a good mid? That is kind of the plan I'm going for. So yeah, he'll be going down to a cheap forward, and we'll be looking to get like a Palmer, Bruno, Rice. Those kind of midfielders will be looking to come into our game. So yeah, that's where we're at with that one. Minding my goddamn business. Oh Lord. Pope or Raya this week. I mean, Pope with that fixture. Start Chalobah, O'Reilly, or Rice. Pick one. Rice. Hello, mate. I'm good. Hope you're doing well. On this Tuesday evening in the UK, it is Baltic. Apparently, it's 3 degrees. That's a lie. That is a lie. Timber, Gabs, Rice, Saka, or Gabs, Saka, Rice. I think it's whichever way you want to really go with it. If you've got the money and potentially the squad to kind of deal with Rice and everything that goes with it, that would probably be the way. But other than that, yeah. People in England be like, it's Tuesday and it's a bit chilly, isn't it? Lol. It is. That's the way we go. Bloody chilly up north, isn't it? In England. I say, cock. It's a bit cold, isn't it? That's how we all speak. Well, everybody from Yorkshire speaks like that. Not me. There was a woman on, I don't know if anybody's watching Traitors at the moment in the UK. There's a woman on there who's like had a proper thick Yorkshire accent. I was just taking the mick out of it. She was like, I've had a retoot on Traitors. Bloody love it. Do you know when there is a blank or a double game week? Game week 31 is potentially going to be a blank, potentially a double in game week 26, and that's about it. Not you, of course, my love. You do not have a Yorkshire accent. Not another one is the best. I think she's Scottish. She's Scottish. She's Scottish. Should I start Ekitike? I would. If you've got like some alright bench cover, you'll be fine. I've had a right out today on traitors. Is she from Bristol? I thought she was Scottish. I think we're going to have a VAR check on that one later, Mills. I thought she was Scottish. Not another one? Oh, no, I guess that is quite southern. Maybe, yeah. All right, I'll let you off. Scouse, West Country, Yorkshire. Yep. They are the best ones, aren't they? Best Minter replacement, it is probably going to be Enzo, Tavernier, Tielemans, Stack, Xhaka, Gardner. They're probably the ones I would look at. Yes, we do team ratings. They are now over in the Discord. If you want to come and get yourself in there. I'm on about disgusting. Yeah, I know that one as well. How does somebody not know how to flush the toilet after they've had a shit? There's one here. Disgusting. Hi, Tom. Is there any news about Robert Sanchez? Yeah, he trained. He trained today, so I reckon he should be good to go. Should I just start? I'd start probably Wirtz and Waltermarda, and then I probably would. Yeah, it could be dicey after that, but yeah, maybe there might be a transfer you have to make in there. Captain Thiago or Haaland? Haaland. I'm starting to sound a little bit scouse sometimes. That doesn't surprise me. Like, it does rub off very quickly. I, in first year, lived with 2 Scousers. And by the end of it, I went home to my parents and they did say I did sound a little bit more scouse. But I guess it's just kind of like a very thick accent that just rubs off on you, doesn't it, really? And you naturally, like, if you feel comfortable around people as well, you naturally, like, copy them, like, subconsciously. That's what you do. So if you sit with people, you will, like, sit the same way. You'll kind of say the same things as well, and phrases and face. Anyway, there you go. Much support, Tom, from Oman. Just subscribed. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing good. Bet it's not cold in Oman. Yeah. I can't remember. Where was your question, mate? Let's have a look. Kevin. I'd be tempted to probably move Waltermarda to Thiago, but maybe could be the move that I potentially would go for. Or you could just play him and hope that Ekitike and hope that Van der Berg will play. And you could just be in a very, yeah, it's a really difficult one, that one to call, to be honest. Yeah, it is a difficult one. Glad to have recently turned to your channel. Love the peaceful discussion hours before. Hate the deadline drama. Yeah, there's just so much that can go off in those as well. And yeah, we have a good laugh on this one. Like, you know, we do the team reviews. We try and help as many people out as possible, but we also, you know, just have a little bit of a like joke and laugh. That is just me, unfortunately. Like, I can't be serious, especially when I'm sat here for what we've been doing now, 3 hours. Like, my mind will just start to get a bit silly. It will get a bit silly. Oh yeah, it was bound to happen then, Abby. It was bound to happen. Oh, is that true? If that's true, then that could be him mudded as an asset, really. Probably Alderente then I probably would leap for. Yeah. Go for. I keep like reading the next chat and like dribbling out the word. Shall I sell Ekitike and VVD or hold them for the Burnley next week? I have 0. I wouldn't make any minuses. I'd just hold them. Who's more likely to keep a clean sheet this game week? It's Chelsea or City? We can go and have a look at the projected data for this week. Whip. What we got? City 35, Chelsea 28. So City. There you go. Obviously, these are the numbers from Rob T and Solio. If you want to go and check them out for yourself, I imagine if you're pretty adversed in the FPL community, you already know how to go and find these absolute legends as always. Have 2 free transfers. Would do VVD to Gabriel and Donna to max 4.9 or roll free. I like both of those moves you suggested, so I'd be tempted to do both of those. Which defender to start out with, Van Dijk, Anderson, or Alderente? Probably Alderente. Would you double up on the Arsenal defence or play Gabriel and Elliot Anderson? I would be tempted to double up on them. They've still got a great clean sheet percentage for this week, 37% chance. Liverpool aren't good. If you replace that Liverpool badge with a Fulham badge, I guarantee everyone would probably be happy, comfortable playing their double defenders as well. Top holiday destinations, Tom. I love Sweden and I love Denmark as well. I've been to Denmark twice. I've been to Sweden like 3 times now. They're like some of my favorite places to go in the world. Going to Dublin at the end of the month with Mills for my birthday. So I'm looking forward to that. Another new country, another new city. So yeah, you know, plenty of great places to go. KDH to Ghana, don't mind it. Who to start, Anderson or Senesi? I probably would go with Anderson. Should I prioritize getting Raya out for Gabriel or handle a Minter and Ekitike problem? I think deal with the players that are injured first before maybe looking at other ones. What's your dream rank if everything goes right? Number 1. If everything goes right, you want to be number 1. Like, imagine, like, no content creators ever won FPL. And if it, like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody that is a previous winner has then turned to FPL or turned to content creation, should I say. So winning it would be cool, but the pressure you would be under would be unbelievable. It would be unbelievable. I like Sanchez. Yeah, apparently he's trained today, so I think he should be good to go. Ekitike and Enzo versus Palmer and Thiago. I think I probably prefer option 2. 2 penalty takers in there. Sign me up for that. Probably go Alderente. Yeah. Ooh. Obviously, we'll be wrapping up in about 10 minutes as well. Have we actually got the number 1 ranked player in my mini league? Oh, sweet. Well, fair play. Fair play. He must be a big subscriber. I'll have to dap him up. I'll have to get him on the channel if he's in the league. I imagine he's in most content creators leagues though. Like if I was number 1, I would be entering every single mini league possible just to flex that. Like imagine him loading into the app and going 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1. That must be a very nice feeling. Had you down as a Sun Sea type of guy, South Korea, Japan, both quite opposite extremes. I've never been to Asia. Again, no real desire for me to go. Like, same with like, so like Africa and Asia, there's no desire to go to these places for me personally. I want to see more of Europe. I think it's great. I think you have to go to America at some point in your life. And again, same with South America. I don't think that I'd want to go there for. There's nothing there really that I want to go there for either. Sober to Grealish as a 3-week punt. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. -4 for Rice. Worth it? Probably not. Who is that player? I don't know who that player is. Yeah, I don't know who that player is, so you're going to have to tell me. Business. Minding my goddamn business. Should I start Ekitike or Wilson? I probably would still start Ekitike. I don't think personally he's going to start, so you'll end up with Wilson off the bench. But yeah, I still would give Ekitike the run for the money, to be honest. Yeah, that's probably the way that I would lean on that one. Yeah, I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal diddle him either, to be honest. Please, for this game week, Bruno Guimaraes, Chow or Bruno, and Gabriel. I need like a little bit more context on the moves you're thinking about. But ideally, I would want Chow, Bruno, Guimaraes, and Gabriel. But if that's for minuses, then no. Should I bring Gordon in and take out Cunha right after the deadline? No. We've got 10 days till the next FPL deadline. You've got FA Cup, Carabao Cup games coming in between that. A lot of football, a lot of times where people could get injured. Not worth it, in my personal opinion. Right, guys, I am going to leave it there. I've been live for 3 hours. My voice is starting to go. I've got a bit of a headache. I need to go and do some cardio at the gym. So I'm going to leave it there. Of course, if you want to come and chat to me, and I'll be like helping people out for, up till the deadline in the FPL cartel. So if you want to come and check it out, please feel free to. Obviously, there'll be some videos out this week and over the weekend and stuff like that, heading into, of course, next weekend's deadline. But thank you, everybody, for being in today's stream. Really do appreciate it. Go over to Golden Goals. Go and give him a hello from me. And yeah, I will see you in the next one, guys, in a bit.